thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I am alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white lights.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
It's crazy evil.
Good morning, good morning. Welcome to No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. It's October 2nd, Thursday morning. Sorry, I'm a little bit late today, guys. My kitty cat had a doctor appointment. I totally forgot about it. So my kitty cat actually had scheduled an echocardiogram. You have to get those regularly, especially for Sphinx, because they have a higher likelihood of certain genetic diseases like HCM, which affect the heart. So you need to check it regularly, which we do. And it was our appointment today. So that's why I'm a little bit late, and I also had to get a little workout in. So I guess it's technically not morning some places, but I don't know. Unless you're on the East Coast, it's basically morning everywhere else. And I don't know, 12-ish. If you're an alcoholic, it's the morning, I think. I think it counts, a non-functioning alcoholic, which I'm sure some of my audience is. Some of the greats are, but get your shit together. But with that, pleasure to be with you guys today. Today we'll be talking about the ADL getting the boot from the FBI, getting kicked out. The second segment's called Gabbing Ghouls today. That's just kind of, today's a bit of a clip day. We're catching up on clips, watching a bunch of that stuff today. A little bit of a lull on the news side of things. No crazy bombshells today, but we'll catch up on some of the interesting clips around the world, around just around, I guess. I can't even think of what it's around. It's around the podcasting sphere, the establishment. I don't know. It's kind of generally the baddies, although I guess we have some semi-good stuff. But we have for example, we have a clip of the Free Press with Barry Weiss. There's some shit from a Fox. It looks like they might be doing some AI fuckery. We also will be following the Kirk money, essentially following the money trail. We might even get into a little bit of a Massey money trail of the ones against them, see if maybe we see any sort of intersection along there. But I don't know, just a little bit of one of these days we're catching up on stuff, diving through. A good day to remind you guys that days like today are when it really comes in clutch, having a good audience like you guys. When you guys tag me in a lot of stuff, particularly on social media, tag me at Tower Gang Jose. If you see anything that you're like, oh, this would be great for the show, tag me. Because it's like, sometimes there's leading crazy news stories. You're like, oh, this is right up my alley. But not always. Sometimes I need people to keep an eye out. And sometimes we have slow news days where it's like, hey, let's dig in, see what else there is. And that's a little bit of it today. So it's good to have guys like you out there. So, keep tagging me and stuff. I have a good eyes and ears out there, but it's always better to have more. Makes it a lot easier. I don't like really being on social media if I don't have to, so it's nice to just open up and I just have a bunch of notifications of tag. I'm like, oh, I kind of already have. You guys kind of know what I want to see. For the most part, it's like I don't even have to bother going through my timeline. I just have to go through my notifications, and I don't have to interact with anybody except for you guys. So I dig it. So keep that up. But while we wait, we have some funny videos to go through. I will give a little bit of a warning today. One second. I'll give a little bit of a warning today. Not everybody. I guess I do feel like I need to give the warning because I have a little bit of I've kind of created a tale of two audiences, I guess, with my shtick. Because I came out through Tower Gang, and so some of you are a little bit, but I've also kind of, even with my No Way Jose side of me, I've always been a little bit more crass. That's just who I am. So I do feel like, though, we're going to get into hard no word territory the sort of territory where it's like, yeah, I shouldn't be playing it this early in the podcast. Luckily, I've kind of delayed about 5 minutes already, so I think we're good. But I'm just giving. I mean, you shouldn't be watching this show really with kids in the car, anyways. So like, I don't know. I don't try to clean up my language for that. The way I talk on this show is not at all how I talk around my children or kids. So like, probably shouldn't be playing it like that. I know it limits my audience, but it makes me freer to say things. So just, we're going hard though. So on the off chance, I don't know, you have teenagers and you feel like whatever, they can listen to me sometimes. If you have any sort of filter, we're getting to hard word territory. So I just want to let you know. But it's funny, and I think it's worth it, and it's right up the alley of what I'm about and what I find funny. So it is what it is. But I do feel like I should warn you just for the sake. If you never know who's watching this in their car or whatever, when you're listening to this, just a warning. Maybe here in a few minutes you'll know. Fast forward. I'll warn you when we get to it. Not quite. I'll give you a little bit of a warm up to it. We have a couple funny little clips. To break the ice while we wait for more of the class to roll in. But I'll let you know when it gets to the one that I'm like, okay. Some of you, if you're a little sensitive to certain no-no words, or if you have sensitive ears around, beware. This one we'll be fine with. I think this is probably a little bit more cheeseball territory. But either way, I still wanted to play it because I think it'd be funny. This is, I haven't watched this yet, but this is, I guess, some J.D. Vance interaction. So let's play this.
The president's been posting some images of Leader Jeffries and Senator Schumer. I saw recently. You've said that you're interested in good faith negotiations with these leaders, but what message does that send? Is it helpful to post pictures of Leader Jeffries in a sombrero if you're trying to have good faith talks with him?
Oh, I think it's funny. The president's joking, and we're having a good time. You can negotiate in good faith while also poking a little bit of fun at some of the absurdities of the Democrats' positions, and even, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that.
That DEI pilot really fucked you up, my nigga. They might not be good at flying, but they're great at shooting. I'll tell you that.
What about the Epstein files?
We caught that nigga droid trying to flip them for a bag of Fent.
I just realized I think I had myself muted. How long was I muted? Was I muted for a long time? Oh no! What did the sound start? 12:23. I went for 3 minutes muted. Oh, that's awful. What was I going on about? We played the fuck. Man, I was rambling about my thoughts on JD Vance and memedom, I think is what I was rambling about. I think that's what you missed. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Let's play this sick meme. I'm sorry. What an awful way to start it off. I don't know why I even muted it. I think I might have just had a cough or something. I think I forgot to unmute it after that. Man, what a fucking amateur mistake. Let's just pretend that never happened. I mean, whatever. That first clip was a little bit of a dud. It was just I think you guys heard the clip. You just didn't hear me. So it was JD Vance and, I don't know, leading into some sombrero memes. The sombrero memes will stop when, I don't know, the government shutdown's over or whatever. I forget. But I was kind of commenting on how it seems kind of corny. And there clearly is this or semi-organic meme campaign behind JD because it is kind of funny and hilarious. At the same time, it's also like somewhat contrived. I mean, obviously it's being pushed. I just think it's like also funny. So they just kind of struck on a vein. But I was just kind of making commentary though that the way he delivered, I don't know, it just felt kind of cheesy, kind of felt like Buscemi meme vibes of like how do you do kids type thing. So I don't know, just felt weird, but it still was kind of semi funny. And I kind of was commenting too on how there's been this weird new push I've noticed, particularly amongst Republican side of the aisle to kind of like embrace meme and troll culture more, and it just kind of comes off as weird, like they aren't really nailing it. But all right, let's watch this clip again.
That DEI pilot really fucked you up, my nigga. They might not be good at flying, but they're great at shooting. I'll tell you that.
What about the Epstein files?
We caught that nigga droid trying to flip them for a bag of Fent. As far as I know, they never existed. Get cleaned up, Pookie. You got a mission. Our intel says that Jimmy Kimmel is actually Bashar al-Assad undergone surgery with aim to destabilize our relationship with Israel. They've been pruning out their viewers for years, creating sleeper agents across the globe with one mission only, shoot niggas in the neck. They are planning to drop the activation phrase tonight. Godspeed, my nigga.
I ain't apologizing for shit, nigga. That nigga don't be putting in no work. Perkinator ain't no hit to this Perkinator.
All right, I'm looking forward to more Kirkinator memes. Keep cranking them out. All right, here's the clip I was warning you guys out about, giving you a little bit of a heads up. Let me double check and make sure I'm not muted like a retard. I am not. All right, let's move over to this one. It's not really that bad. It's just really, if you're one of those people who gets broken by one specific word out there, it's really... But also, I also get why people may not want this blasting on their stereos and prefer a bit of a warning. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe some of you guys listen to this while you're at work or whatever. So here's a warning. Some no words about to ensue. But this is just Owen, just kind of, I don't know, pointing out the obvious about some a little bit of a silly goof that I don't even know what to say is a silly goof. But you know, sometimes Trump goes a little off the cuff and gets a little crazy, and I don't know, some funny situations can ensue. So. Let's hear a little bit of riffing off of, not even riffing, really just kind of commenting off of what the fuck does Trump mean when he says there are two N-words and we can't say them, and then going on a diatribe about said N-words. So let's go and watch this. Of course, the audio literally the moment I swapped over. Give me a second. Let me fix that. Oh, God, I hate StreamYard so fucking much. Give me a second. All right, now it's back up. Whatever, I gave you guys a little more time to get prepared for the word nigger. All right, let's go play.
We can't let people throw around that word. I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use either of them. You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else.
We have more niggers.
We have better. We have
better niggers.
newer
niggers. I think that's kind of what he meant.
He's like, you can't say either N-word, and we have better N-words. So he's saying nuclear and nigger are the same. It's like don't say either, but just know we have better niggers, we have newer niggers, we have stabbier niggers. It's true, because Russian niggers are like Slavs. You know, that's a pretty old breed of nigger. We have cutting edge 18th century nignog straight from the slave coast of Africa.
You can't use either of them. And frankly, if it does get to use, we have more than anybody else.
We have more niggers than Russia?
We have better, we have newer.
Newer niggers? Better niggers.
But it's...
I mean, am I wrong? Isn't that what he's saying here?
I call it the N-word. There are two N-words, and you can't use...
So he said, I call it the N-word. There's two N-words. So he's saying nuclear and nigger. That's what he's saying. And I'm not the bad guy for being clear, for explaining things coherently.
Either of them.
Can't use either N-word, nigger or nuclear.
Can't use either of them.
Not either one.
And
I'll tell you why, because we got better ones.
frankly, if it does get to use, we have
If we got to use our niggers,
more than anybody else.
we have more niggers. We'll take Baltimore and send it right to St. Petersburg.
We have better.
We have better niggers. I mean, have you seen the NFL, Putin?
We have newer.
I mean, our niggers are the breed, 19th century pure vintage. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that.
There is something to be said there. I think perhaps maybe Trump was cooking with fire a little bit there. I mean, you know, we have this faux pas among the word nigger. You can't say that word. Oh, no. Just some social sensibilities. You can't say it. Like, regardless of the context. I can literally just be reading Tom Sawyer, and, like, the respectable thing is supposed to be, oh, you gotta say the N-word. I'm like, well, we know it's nigger. Like, it says it here in the word. It's just nigger. Like, I mean, I'm not in any way using this in hate. It just says the word. So, but, I mean, we behave in this way for some fucking reason. But now, if you do think about, like, the concept of, think about nuclear. Why don't we behave about this word the same way? I mean, if we are to believe that the idea is that, like, hey, we should never, ever, ever, ever use this, like, no matter what, it's like, why would this rule only apply for something as trivial as a mouse sound of nigger, but not the wanton destruction of thousands of lives and generations and families destroyed? I don't know. I mean, so like it kind of would make more sense if we were like, Nuke, shut the fuck. You do not say that word. You don't say that word. Nuke, you get the hell out of here. Like that'd make way more sense, wouldn't it? So maybe maybe there's a thread of thought to be had here. I don't know. Something there. Maybe there is something. I mean, there's at least an odd duality, an odd inversion. Something. I don't know. We're working with rough concepts here. We're working with rough concepts, but I think there's something there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Death, hurt feelings. I don't know. I just see one, you can't at all. One, no one fucking cares if you say nuclear. I mean, I don't know. I think we might be onto something. All right, let's say our good mornings. Check in. Sorry for the ridiculous audio issues. That was embarrassing, but I am apt to be embarrassed on this morning show, but I'm pleasure to have you guys with me. It's always fun. I was a little bit bummed when I was going to be late, but hey, there's still a good deal amount of you here, even with me running late, so that works out. Hey, you know, there's always silver linings whenever we have these odd days where I have to come in early or come in late. That's an opportunity for somebody in a different time zone or who may not have seen it to pop into the show. So, hey, our horde of dumpers may be growing. We need to think of a term of a group of dumpers. What do we call a group of dumpers? I keep trying to like not lean into this cult thing, but it is fun to kind of come up with the fun little verbal things for it. All right, let's roll through. Good morning, Wise Alex. As early as me, you were early. A whole 35 minutes. Hit that like button, people. There's me. Wise out commenting on the AI. Yes, I'm fully aware today's thumbnail is a little bit wonky, and that's why I picked respect it. I kind of like it. It's something about its goofiness. It's a fucked upness is endearing. I like it. Good morning, Evan says always late. That's not true. I'm not always late, although I am consistently probably maybe like 15. Every now and then I need a little buffer, but I try to keep it around 11 a.m. Good morning. Wise Elk thinks it'll be a doozy because we got Tucker on it. I will. Don't want to get too ahead of you. It's not like a heavy Tucker episode. It's just I don't have one clip for him, so I figured, hey, use a good thumbnail for just kind of quickly thrown together. Good morning, Mike Immortal. Good morning. No Hablo. Never been on time enough to actually watch the intro. Good morning, he says. Good morning, Seth says. Good morning. Was tired of listening to Truth Teller going off in mazes space. I don't know who either of those people are. Good morning, Romulus says. I am the Catman. The Catman. I sure am. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Mike Mortal's saying that after 35 years, AOL dial-up stream has gone offline. Well, that's great. I had many a good times catfishing what I thought were probably adult women as a 12-year-old boy to get them to send me boobies. Here's me as a fucking ripped 36-year-old doctor with perfectly coiffed hair. Yeah, that's totally me. Send me a picture of your boobies. It's all rushing back to me right now. It's nostalgia, just wave after wave. It is sad. The death of a legend. AOL dial-up stream is gone. Good morning, Tucker Delay. Good morning, Jake Moore. Jake Moore with Daft Punk would say around the world. Yeah, it was. That would have been a good one to go. Romulus says, Jose, can you outlift Cole still? That's a good question. That is a good question. Could I outlift Cole? Because I'll be honest, when Cole really got back into working out big time, I had gone to be like a fat piece of shit and like had not been working. Every now and then I'd get like on a little bit of kick where I'd get back into working out. But I'll be honest, I had a lot going on in my life. I feel like things are getting a little bit back together. I just had a lot going on with the kids, wife, everything. Just so much going on. I mean, for those who watch the show long enough, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life. So I know I wasn't taking care of myself like I should, but I just didn't really have the time. But now I've this summer, I really got my shit together. So I feel like I'm in pretty good shape, good place right now. But could I outlift Cole? I'm lifting I'm in good shape. Like I think I could probably Actually, I don't know if I could outrun Cole. I don't really know. I guess I'd have to almost see the kind of workouts he's doing. I don't know. That'd be a good question. That'd be fun. I think he's doing some sort of fitness influencing or something. Maybe me and him can link up or something, and maybe something along those lines. I don't fucking know. It would be fun. I don't know how that would even make sense or work or whatever, but I don't know. It would be kind of fun to see where we're at because I am kind of back in shape now. Kind of see if the young buck and the old bull has got back in the game. Is the young buck still the superior predator? I don't know. Am I the goddamn alpha predator? I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. He might be able to, because I don't think I could lift as heavy as I've ever lifted, but I'm in pretty good shape and probably could lift fairly heavy. Like, I don't think I could squat over 600 like I used to back when I was fucking 220 fucking meatball at 5'5", just fucking yoked out of my mind. But I don't know. I don't think he can squat 600 either. So I don't know. I think legs maybe dead. I think I'd wreck him in squats. I think I'd probably beat him in deads. Bench would be interesting to see where we'd be at with those, at least for the main three. I'm sorry. I know people in the chat are probably like, why the fuck do I care about that? But hey, you asked, Romulus, so I gave you an answer. Good morning, what up? Or not good morning, what up? Good morning, Sky High. Sorry, that was weird. Good morning, Nevsky. This is good morning, Kike Flagets. Good morning. Good morning, Drakoltakon. I'm getting better at that. Firm handshakes and hard R's around the table, 100%. This live stream is still better for children than Netflix. Yes. Good morning, Rise to Liberty. Yes. Now we're at the point where everybody's telling me how I was muted. This is so embarrassing. Seeing all the chat saying muted. Good morning, AQ. Thanks for letting me know I was muted. Good morning, Bug Fights. Letting me know I was muted. Appreciate it. Maybe I'll have to make a note in the timestamps. My bad. Yeah. Embarrassing. What else? Good morning, John Black. Good to see you here. So this intro video is sick as fuck. It sure was. Who else we got? Good morning, Marna Mac. Trump's a sellout, but at least he's a hilarious sellout. That is true. He is fucking hilarious. John Black says, rest in peace, AOL. I remember getting the free CD-ROMs from Blockbuster on every Friday night. Nevsky says, the N-word is something you never want to call a black person. Neighbor. Why does everyone use StreamYard if it sucks so bad? No Hablo says, I don't know, it's pretty good for user-friendly, at least for me. I'm a tech retard, so it is user-friendly, so it's pretty easy to figure out. So that's why I've used it. And then also a lot of the other options are just confusing as shit, so... why is Elk's not going to know no word in Rumble? That's nice. Good morning, Bobo. Good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Who else we got in the chats? Good morning, Tom33. Good morning. Mike Mortal saying I'm still muted. That would be torture if it was just 20 minutes muted and I didn't notice somehow. One of these days it's going to happen. It's totally going to happen. There's definitely been times where I've broken touch with the checking in on to see if I'm muted long enough where it could have been really bad. Because, those accidents happened, and you're not always looking, am I muted, am I not? And then this is why solo shows could get a little rough. Good morning, Ken David says, hit the like button. Yes, please. Good morning, hey, say what now? I think I already said hi to you. Good morning, everybody. Who else we got? I got a bunch of chit-chat in the chat. Good morning, everybody. I think I may have said good morning to just about everybody. I think William Miller, good morning, good morning. I think maybe we did. Good morning, comment mama. ASL, she knows what's up. She was that chick sending me booby pics. That or she was another person pretending to be a chick. Although I don't feel like girls probably did that, did they? They probably weren't. What it probably was is it was probably me as a 12-year-old hitting up some... who what I thought was some 20-some-year-old that was really hot, and I was sending her photos of me as some doctor who was all ripped and whatever and just crushing it financially with 3 businesses or whatever to get her to send me boobies. And I thought it was a girl, but it really was probably some pedophile who was taking photos from some fucking site from some chick, just kind of basically doing what I was doing. I was trying to catfish a chick for booby pics, and then some. It's just kind of like that meme where it's the gun behind each person, and then but in reality it's like me trying to fucking get boobies from a hot chick, and then behind me it's a guy with a gun. It's a 55-year-old man trying to fuck a 12-year-old boy. That's probably who was sending me booby pics online. So be careful what your kids are doing online, people. Good morning, JC. Good morning. Good morning. What else? Who we got? Who's got the stronger neck? Jose or Cole? I don't know. It's a toss-up. I think I probably have the stronger neck, but I'm a holdout on that because Cole would be the kind of weirdo who would do neck isolating exercises or something. I've never been someone who's isolated neck muscles, but I've always done so many compound lifts like deadlift, squats, tire flips, those sort of things. I've more been a power lifter, athletic. So I just kind of naturally your neck builds up from those sorts of lifts and those sorts of things. But Cole is also the weirdo who would be on those machines where you're just I don't know. He would be the weirdo that would somehow feel no shame doing those weird ass head exercises. So I don't know. Maybe he's got a ridiculously strong neck. We'll have to see whose neck can take a 30-06. Hashtag neck strong. Tom33 says Cole's a fitness influencer, fitness dick guys in his ass. Yeah. Lots of jokes. That's what I've heard. So I don't know. Someone said I could do fitness influencing with conspiracy theories in between sets. I guess I could. I always feel gay about doing any sort of oh, here's my workout, or I don't know, it just feels gay. Good morning, Year Zero. Tommy Salmon's in the chat. What's up? Good morning. Good morning. Rise to Liberty says the day you have 20 minutes of muted show is the day that I will start taking over producing for the Daily Show. Well, I mean, yeah, well, it's bound to happen. So you're bound to become a producer of the morning show. But hey, I feel like the shows we're gaining an audience. It's growing. So who knows? Maybe in a year or so we might be at a point where it does make sense to. I don't know. I have no idea what your life situation is, Jacob, if you're available at that time. But who knows? In the next year or so, that might not be that crazy of a concept, especially once we get the monetization straightened out. Cue all the crazy people in the chat telling you about all the monetization stuff I need to do. So what else we got in here? Bobo says, behind every e-girl is a CIA agent trying to get a soft boy FBI agent to do terrorism. Very, very true. The That's so funny. Draco Takan says LMFAO Cole was doing isolated exercises last I saw. That's actually funny. I was just guessing. I had no idea, but he's totally the type of guy who would do that. I mean, no shade. I'd love him. I'd make fun of him about this to his face, but he is the one who would do that. So there is an outside chance that he could crush me in just pure neck strength or something. Bugfight says, did you hear about Clint? Yeah, I am. I actually did reach out to Clint, and I don't know. I feel gay about you guys know I'm not religious, and I don't know. I'm not a very sentimental person, so it was. I don't know. It was hard to find the right words to hit up Clint. For those who aren't aware, I guess his dad, I think, has stage 4 cancer. I haven't talked to him a bunch. I mean, me and Clint aren't close. I've known if I ever really claimed, but we were decent enough friends, and so it felt appropriate. I never really know what the proper words are, and especially because it's I'm not religious, so it's I can't say I'm praying to you. That feels weird. It's also I don't know. I mean, really, if I what am I I'm thinking it? What is that? If anything, that feels like I'm making it about myself. But I don't know. I guess if there's any chance that a friend thing, if it helps in any way, knowing that hey, other people are hey, I'm sorry, you're going through this type deal. So I did reach out to him. So just because, but I don't. I mean, it's awful. I mean, I hope he's doing all right during this time. It really is. So I don't know. I mean, if you're anyone out there that hasn't heard and you do have some sort of relationship with Clint like that, where you do feel I mean, I don't really know if he would be the kind of guy who would want really particularly an outpouring. I don't know. I'll be completely honest. I'm not the guy that would really necessarily want a ton of you guys reaching out to me and stuff. Just that's how I would handle it. So I don't know, but that is a thing, and he was public about it. So. But I don't know. I don't know who's out there or what levels of rapport the people listening have with Clint. Because I mean, I know there's some audience members that I'm closer with or not. So I mean, there are definitely members of my audience that if I was my mom or my dad or my wife or somebody who's dying, that I wouldn't be surprised to reach out for them, and it would mean a lot to me. So for those who aren't aware, that is a thing. So although if you don't have that level of rapport, I don't know. I'm just throwing that out. Is just gauge out where you're at with Clint. I don't know because. Some people do also have misidentify their level of relationship with people, but he is a friend. I do feel awful he is going through that, so I really do hope he's doing all right. And if there's anything I can do for him, which I know there isn't, then to help him with that, yeah. Awful stuff, bummer. But we, reminder that we are mortal, and it's important the lessons we pass on. I thought the episode he did about his dad was pretty touching, and it really made me think about my relationship with my kids and how important things like the lessons you instill in them and the way you live while you're alive, things like legacy really matter. And I think especially when you look at somebody like Clint, I know a lot of people like to clown on the guy sometimes, but I mean, I know we might joke maybe he's a Fed, but I don't think he is. And let's say he is. I know he's a guy with good head on his shoulders, and I think a lot he's did well in his life. I don't know, and I think a lot of that came from lessons instilled from him and his parents. So I don't know. I think there's. I don't know. It's just time to reflect on that. Not every day is taken for granted. So, but good morning, Tom33 says Jose is fitness influencing. It's actually I don't know what all these things are. These symbols are. I'm sorry, I'm not young enough for that. Let me see what else we got in there. Been praying from says Draco Takan. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, Bobo says that's because we have a parasocial relationship with YouTube creators because we interact, but we truly don't know each other like that. Yeah, and that's fair. I mean, there's a little bit of but it's not quite the same. So, but I don't know. I'm a little bit torn when people get in this discussion because you do sort of build some sort of relationship, but then also at the same time, then people have these misunderstandings of thinking that I'm buddies with Tim Pool or some crazy shit, and you're like, dude, I met him twice. I don't no. I don't think he fucking knows who I am. So yes, people do get a misunderstanding of relationships with this shit. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into some foreign policy stuff. Kind of on the 21-point plan thing that we talked about a little bit yesterday. Apparently, Trump made a stern and clear call to Netanyahu after a rumor spread that Netanyahu was planning to reject his peace proposal. So essentially, we're getting these sources say story. That's the crux of this story right here, just to kind of get to it. Here's what the allegedly, Trump allegedly told Bibi, in quotes, take it or leave it, and leave it means we walk away from you. And then on Netanyahu, according to the source, In quotes, Donald Trump has had enough for many reasons. It says Trump spoke 5 times on the phone with Netanyahu over the weekend, telling Netanyahu he wanted a clear yes instead of a yes but, which, I mean, we've covered kind of extensively all the assortment of buts we've gotten from this deal. So I just more or less just want to throw this out just so you're aware. This is if anything, this is cyclical at this point. This is, we know crazy shit goes down right at this moment when clearly there's like everyone's like really clamoring about it. And then we get a little bit of these sprinkled in sources say stories of, ooh, Trump's super mad. He's so mad at Netanyahu. Ooh, he's so mad. Oh, we're not going to let him do the West Bank. Meanwhile, they are annexing the West Bank. Like, you can say, oh, I'm not going to let them annex the West Bank while they're annexing the West Bank. So it's kind of like, well, they are. So maybe get on that one. So yeah, I'm just throwing that out. So that's where they're at. Meanwhile, at the same time, we have the cabinet members still referring to the civilians as terrorists. So this is the defense minister, Israel Katz, on Wednesday issued a threat to Palestinian civilians in famine-stricken Gaza City, warning they have their last opportunity to leave the besieged city and that they will be treated as, in quotes, terrorists if they remain. This is his quote that was on X. About the IDF encircling Gaza City. He said, in quotes, "This is the last opportunity for Gaza residents who wish to do so to move south and leave Hamas terrorists isolated in Gaza City itself, facing the IDF's ongoing operations at full force," he wrote. "Those who remain in Gaza will be considered terrorists and terror supporters," he added. So now if you exist in that area, you are a terrorist. So this is with this supposed deal on the horizon. So yeah, not looking so great. We also got 73 Palestinians die in the past 24 hours. So seems like they're keeping up the same speed. Still killing people going south. It doesn't really seem to take too much of a difference which way they are going. People are just getting fucking murdered. This is a genocide. And then also we have, oh, dang it. What the fuck? Sorry. Give me a second. One of the cats literally just ran up and then just fucking fuck off. Sorry. What the hell? They literally came up and just yanked the fucking cord for the fucking... Frig off. When have you ever done that? Why did you choose now to do that? Sorry. All right. Well, that was a little bit weird. Give me a second. Sorry. We'll get back on track here in a second. There we go. What the fuck? What is your deal? Are you... Okay. Well, that was Violet. That wasn't Jeff, for those who want to keep track of the inner social workings of the house here. All right. Okay. Where were we? Okay, well, that's, I don't know, feels a little odd having this weird giggle session, and we're talking about Palestinians dying in Gaza. All right. All right, we're back. All right, the latest. Old Greta, our queen, she's down, queen down. Here's a little video of her. They kidnapped her all over again. So the flotilla has been, you can say, they got it. Let's check the latest updates. Now, last I heard, it's kind of like an ongoing thing. Essentially, they intercepted the ships, so it's been like kind of little. So let's see where the latest is at. Here's the latest. The Gaza Samud flotilla live. Israel intercepts ships, detains activists. So world leaders and rights groups have condemned Israel's interception of the global Samud flotilla, which had been sailing toward the Gaza Strip, as unlawful. Which, one key point is it was still in international waters when it got intercepted. So technically, I think this is illegal. So now, had they been in their waters, I think maybe it'd be a little bit different situation. But anyways, Israel says all but one of the 24 vessels symbolically carrying aid toward war-ravaged Gaza have now been seized, while dozens of activists have been detained. So this morning, I think it was only like a few when I heard it. So it sounds like they're saying all but one now. So that's where they got him. They got him. I mean, I don't know, maybe we'll have more coming out on this. I'm not seeing anything about anyone getting hurt or anything yet, so that's good. I mean, I kind of doubted at this point that they were going to do anything too violent, but hey, whatever. If it diverts attention from them doing other awful shit in any way, shape, or form, hey, that's a W in my opinion. So, but yeah, they got him. They got him. Game over. On to the next thing. And on the Ukraine-Russia front, still not looking so great. This is from Kyle Anzalone over the Libertarian Institute. Europe plans $165 billion loan for Ukraine using frozen Russian funds. Moscow vows response. So essentially, they're taking money that they'd frozen from Russia before, and they're using this as money to give to Ukraine to spend for the destruction of Russia. So yeah, they're not too happy about it. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot much to discuss about that, but that's where we're at. I mean, although what do we expect after the 180 Trump made recently? This seems to be in line with where things were probably going to go. So, all right, let's roll through the chat. That's all we got for foreign policy right now, and then we'll get into some of these clips. Sorry, man, been a weird day production-wise. Maybe we do need to get you on this bitch, Jacob. Man. All right, let's roll the chat. Say hi. You guys got me chatting in the morning chat. That's what it is. That's threw me all off. And then all the weird, the cat stuff and the muting. But yeah, we're already 40 minutes in, so we need to get some of the topics. Let's check out the chat. John Black says Clint offered $2,000 for original UVU September 10 footage to help with the Charlie Kirk investigations. Didn't remember seeing that, but that checks out. Makes sense. Romulik says Dave Smith talks about if you've listened to someone for years, you do kind of know them even if they don't know you. Exactly. Yeah, you do kind of. So there's an odd relationship. Bug Fight saying feeling bad about some same joke as yesterday. I don't know, maybe you're trolling or clowning on Clint or something. I don't know. Wise Elk, if Tim Pool started lifting, would he finally choose a side? Perhaps. Maybe then his backbone would develop enough to where he could just kind of remove. He could do a tricep dip and pull the fence post out of his asshole, and then kind of finally, oh God, yeah, murdering innocents. Oh God, that's bad. And finally, shove himself off that fence post. Maybe, just maybe, yeah. If he just worked at his triceps, he could get that fucking fence out of his asshole. What else we got in here? 37 people, nearly 19 likes. Step that shit up, people. Hit them likes. Marna Mac says cat attack. Yeah, the cat's got me. What are all your cats' names? Well, the inside cats that we have right now, Jeff, Floof, and Violet. And then we have other cats in different areas around the house. But those are the house cats right now, the ones that we're keeping just kind of the main area. Justin says, good morning, Justin. I think it's the first time seeing you. Greta's back in custody for reconditioning. It seems that way. Let me see. Carrying empty boxes like FBI agents coming out of John Bolton's house. Is that what they were doing out of the ships? I mean, I don't know. They probably didn't even bring a whole lot of aid with them. I don't know. Did they even expect to actually land? I don't know. It would have been crazy had they. But I think this is overall a good thing, despite how much we fucking clown on them. Good morning, Mark Newcomb. Says Tim Pool has chosen a side. He's a crypto. All right, let's go ahead and get into some topics. We'll start off with the latest with the ADL and the FBI, which is kind of interesting. I don't really know what to make of this yet. We'll read an article on about it, so we'll get a little bit more of a more developed opinion on this after it. I mean, kind of almost I don't really know how to think of this as anything other than a good thing, but just kind of this just feels weird. You're like, what an odd change of events. I don't know. It's bizarre. It's just kind of befuddled. So here's Nick Sorter saying, breaking FBI. Kash Patel confirms the FBI has fully cut ties with the ADL after they labeled Turning Point and Christian Identity as hate/terror groups. James Comey brought in the ADL and user labels as an excuse to spy on and harass conservative groups like TPUSA. I don't even know why I had that faggots one up there. Let's just read what the Kash Patel has to say. Instead of what some weird grifter has to say. James Comey wrote, in quote, love letters to the ADL, this is Kash Patel, by the way, and embedded FBI agents with them, a group that ran disgraceful ops spying on Americans. That era is over. This FBI won't partner with political fronts masquerading as watchdogs. And he's sharing a article from Rachel Wolf over at Fox News saying Patel cuts ties with ADL as organization faces backlash for TPUSA criticism. That's by Rachel Wolf, the one he's sharing. But I'm going to read the one from Michael Menahan instead because I have a feeling Rachel Wolf's one is probably just complete and utter fucking trash. And I don't know, Michael Menahan, I don't know enough about this, a ton about this guy, but I've seen some articles from recently and some posts, and he seems pretty decent. So seems maybe a little bit better route to go. So let's read this one together. Like I said, this is Chris Menahan. Information Liberation is his where he's publishing out of. It says FBI cuts ties with ADL. Director Patel decries group's disgraceful ops spying on Americans, which is an extremely ironic thing for the government to say. FBI Director Kash Patel on Wednesday announced the Bureau is cutting all ties with the Anti-Defamation League, slamming the Jewish advocacy group for spying on Americans and masquerading as an apolitical watchdog. Which, I don't know, maybe I was onto something just there. What was like the idea of that they would even have the gall to this like angle of spying on Americans. Because the idea that the government, the FBI, would be slamming a quasi-private group for spying on Americans is quite rich. Like insanely rich. To the point where you're like, is this on purpose? Like, are you like... Is this the angle? I mean, maybe think, is this like a lean into, is the new game no longer we're going to have private cutouts? Is it now not even trying to have this quasi-private, instead it's going to be straight government? Now, is this the pendulum coming back now? Instead of we can shield ourselves from responsibility because they're private. Now we're doing the swap, the opposite. Now private's bad, but now we'll embrace government. Is this the angle for how we get the Palantir stuff to where this is they're part of our government? Is that the vibe where you're like, okay, but the government's allowed to do these things, which is kind of. For those who recall, I remember when like Theo Vaughn was having JD Vance and stuff on his show, kind of, I think either early on in the administration or when they were running, that was kind of the ironically the argument, the angle of argument when it came to Palantir, because I think Theo did ask him about that. It was kind of like, they kind of have all that stuff anyway, and the government's doing this. And if you really think about all the private, I think he actually even made a point to mention like, think about all the private stuff people happen, and and I think he even kind of did twist that and like, isn't that crazy how private actors are just able to do that? And you're like, yeah, to some extent. Obviously, I don't really care for private actors doing it, but it's like that's kind of an inversion where you're like, yeah, but you're sitting here telling us like, oh yeah, the government just does this shit, but isn't it gross how like they're doing this? And you're like, you kind of side eye him like, yo, dude, shut the fuck up. What? I don't know. It just seems bizarre. Like it almost feels like there's this like underlying subtext of like. Almost like you're giving some sort of semblance of consent, I guess, when you're like, yeah, that is right. I don't like that they're doing that. Don't get me wrong. I think the ADL is basically just a front for the feds. But I'm just saying from a angle of argumentation, I find it interesting that this is like, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I don't even really understand why the fuck this is a thing right now. So I don't know. We'll keep going because I'm pretty sure they even share a fucking like building somewhere. So it's just bizarre. They've been pretty connected to the hip for a while now, from what I recall of the ADL and the SPLC. Pretty much all of these sort of watchdog organizations have basically just been, or a lot of them have been essentially just fronts for the feds for a while now. Like if you get down in the weeds of like the Oklahoma City bombing, the SPLC comes up like a bunch. Like they were like infiltrating Elohim City and shit. Like they were basically private feds, which let's be real, that's just feds with a more confusing fucking payout systems. That's all it is. Which we'll probably get a little bit of some of that towards stuff today. So just, I don't know. Maybe I'm grasping straws here. It just seems bizarre to me. James Comey wrote love letters to ADL and embedded FBI agents with them, a group that ran disgraceful ops spying on Americans. Patel wrote on X, that era is over. This FBI won't partner with political fronts masquerading as watchdogs. Now from Fox News, FBI or Patel's, that article we just showed a bit ago. FBI Director Kash Patel is cutting ties with the ADL that the Bureau forged under its former boss, James Comey. James Comey disgraced the FBI by writing love letters to the ADL and embedding agents with an extreme group functioning like a terrorist organization and disgraceful operation they ran spying on Americans. That was not law enforcement, it was activism dressed up as counterterrorism, and it put Americans in danger, Patel told Fox News Digital. That era is finished. This FBI formally rejects Comey's policies and any partnership with ADL, he added. I wonder if he saw my viral tweet highlighting Comey's love letters. And then, okay, this is a
your experience in
hate
hate crime
from
prevention.
Menahan, the guy who wrote the piece.
Your experience in hate crime prevention and investigations is essential and makes us better. Your research has helped FBI agents and analysts as they conduct assessments and prepare intelligence reports. And the training you voluntarily provide in classrooms, in conferences, and at the community level is eye-opening and insightful. Now, if this sounds a little bit like a love letter to the ADL, it is because I intended so. When I spoke to you 3 years ago, I sang your praises. I sang your praises and highlighted the way you fight for inclusivity and diversity, highlighted the way you fight for equality and justice. And I did that because at the time I described yours as an organization that works with us to fight hate crime and terrorism, to educate law enforcement, to build bonds of trust with important communities all over the country. I labeled that speech 3 years ago a love letter to the ADL. 3 years later, I can say from the perspective of the FBI, we are still in love with you.
Yeah, okay. All right. I mean, a little gay, obviously. This whole dust-up seems to have been triggered by another clip I took of Greenblatt saying Christianity is the origin of anti-Semitism. Some account with 1 million followers that takes all my content without credit and covers up my tags posted a few days ago, and it spread like wildfire, which here is Shadow of Ezra, the account, which it totally does fucking do that. This is one of those slop accounts. But here is another, let's go and play this.
Anti-Semitism is a bit of like a virus. And like some viruses, it exists in the kind of body politic and it's dormant, like chickenpox. You get chickenpox as a young person, and then after the kind of inflammation subsides, it's still in you. And it can manifest again when you're older because of stress or age as shingles. Although you can get inoculated and you can prevent that from happening. So I think anti-Semitism is similar. It's like this contagion. It's as old as time, right? We face it for thousands of years. First it was, after the death of Christ.
All right, we're not going to watch all this, but whatever. I think we watched this a few months ago. So he essentially kind of was got at that, Christianity is some sort of. Now, as I'm watching this, I am kind of thinking like, okay, that's another interesting point. Like maybe it is just kind of an easy punching bag for their new push for this like kind of anti-left because it's anti-Christian vibes. I could see that perhaps. I don't know. I mean, also let's be real. Even if you are looking at it from the ADL being some functionary of the government, I think they're past their expiration date. The way that the new media is churning, I don't think the ADL is going to be successful in this current landscape. So to some extent, it's also like, why don't you just fucking throw them overboard? Maybe make them a punching bag on the way out for your next agenda. So perhaps that's the case. Either way, yeah. So it's him hemming and hawing in another clip about accusations that Jews killed Christ. So yeah, I mean, Representative Paulina, Elon Musk, and others all started making posts attacking the ADL for the anti-Christian bias, as well as their portrayal of TPUSA as an extremist/hate group. Although I will say, to some extent, these people are fucking retarded. So I don't know to what extent Chris Menahan understands this either. I know there's a lot of people that pointed out a lot of this like dunking on the ADL the past like week or so has been them like labeling Christian identity as some sort of extremist hate group or something. Well, if you followed this show long enough, Christian identity is a very distinct thing from Christianity. Now, I do think it's a little gay, a little silly for the ADL to be labeling Christian identity as that. But, I mean, if you're going to, while I claim no, authority on understanding the ins and outs, the nuances of the belief systems of Christian identity, but it does come up a lot, and it's like almost always in like covens of like, I don't know, fucking hillbilly, Fed infested fucking white supremacist, militia type vibes. Like that's where Christian identity is always at. It's always like, oh, there's feds and people who make like $20,000 a year all swirling about here. That's what's going on whenever I see Christian identity. So I think people just get retarded and they just get triggered when they see Christian. Although, yeah, it is a little bit gay to be even doing this to begin with. So just throwing that out there. And here's some posts. Okay, this is just kind of him going into all the other people pointing out how the ADL sucks, which you'll find no argument from me. I was thinking perhaps maybe we could find something here. This is interesting, them talking about working with the Trump administration, and obviously this did seem to backfire. So let's see what he's saying here.
I worked with the prior education secretary, and I've worked with this education secretary. And I credit the Biden administration for their national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, a really important document. No one had done what the Biden administration had done before in elevating anti-Semitism to a federal priority. And ADL, in full disclosure, worked with them on that. And they get a lot of credit for adopting the plan. And then I give credit to the Trump administration for actually implementing aspects of the plan and taking a strong view, again, in the face of real, not imagined, real acts.
Watch this dude's fucking hands. It's bizarre. For the audio people, sorry, but he does a lot of weird hand wavy stuff.
Of hate, real acts of discrimination. Again, we helped to write the national strategy to counter anti-Semitism, released by the Biden administration. We were deeply involved in that. We are working as well with the Trump administration. This is what we do.
I wonder, this is just bizarre to me. Okay, let's keep going. Let's look what else there is. Here's more.
We stopped playing defense and have moved to offense. You see this in our focus on the courts. In the past 12 months, ADL's filed more lawsuits than in the prior 112 years against extremist groups, elite universities, public companies, school districts, and state sponsors of terror. We've launched innovative products to intercept anti-Semitism before it takes root, whether in the boardroom or in chat rooms, large language models or academic associations, in Wikipedia entries or WhatsApp chats. This work matters, not just for the Jewish people, but for all of them.
I gotta say, this is making me think if, I'm wondering if perhaps this could be, I don't know, I guess fodder for maybe some of the, I'm trying to think of what you could call these types. I don't know if I would really necessarily call it like a Tucker Carlson, but the people in the realm of the people who don't seem to really always not want to name Trump. The people who take that story, that story I floated out at the beginning, the sources say that, Trump was super mad about that point. He's like, you'll take that fucking deal, BB. You'll fucking take it, you little bitch. Like these sort of stories getting floated out, like, oh, Trump's like really fucking had it with him, and like I'm hearing from my sources that like he's really upset. And now that I'm thinking about this, is like perhaps maybe it's just they genuinely just don't like the ADL and they got shit canned them. They don't really serve any purpose, but that would be so far as like a low tier slop fluencer nonsense. Especially if you're able to attach some sort of something else to this, you could really spin this as some sort of, has Trump finally had it with, this would be like kind of also allow you to save face, perhaps, rhetorically and perception wise for some of the, the free speech craziness as of late, the hate speech talk. If now there you have this signal. So I don't know, I'm just speaking, I'm just speculating where this could go. I'm just more prepared for what is the spin for this. This is bizarre. I don't trust the feds whatsoever. I don't really have much more to say about this. I mean, maybe more will come out later, reasons or maybe or angles of where they're going with this. But I just Feels weird. I mean, I will say though, that what purpose did it even really serve for the feds anymore? In this current landscape, they are pretty fucking useless. So, I guess no one respects the ADL. Just kind of knee jerk at this point. ADL comes out. It's just once a month, some joke. The ADL is labeled something as anti-Semitic, and we go ha ha, and then we move on with their life. That's all that they are at this point. So, is it really that big of a deal? They're firing them or they're shit canning them? No, not really. I don't think so. But it is interesting. What does this mean? Where are they going to go with this? I'm unsure. Time will tell. I'll be interested. I have a feeling like literally probably I'll get out of the show today or within a couple hours. There'll probably be some minor story or something. There'll already be the messages out. There'll be some sort of spin. I just anticipate it already. All right, let's roll through the chat, see what you guys got to say, and then we'll kind of get into rolling through some fun clips for today. Good morning, Denise. She's saying hello from North Georgia. Good morning, good morning. Bobo's saying hi from Texas. John Black says, I had Timcast in the background while cooking last night. Ian asked about the founding of the ADL. I haven't seen a USS Liberty type edit that they had made before. That's funny. I wonder where they went with that one, or if their buttholes puckered, or what. What else we got in here? Good morning, Mark Newcomb says the ADL will be replaced with a right-wing, pro-Jewish, pro-Israel group. This is all just a show. You're probably right. I'm just kind of curious where they go with it. Let me see. ADL, Ashkenazi Dick Licker, says Wise Elk, perhaps. What else? Who else we got here? 22 likes. Bump that shit up. I saw like fucking over 50 of y'all in here a minute ago. Bump that shit up. Mama says it'll be, we need Palantir for our safety. Yeah, she seems to agree with me there. Yeah, Palantir has been out for 25 years, just being transferred to the public now, says Uncle Ted, 100%. Gladio flexing a little bit in Europe, says Justin. Yeah, they're getting ready to, for sure. It's happening all over the place, like Bobo's saying. Like we had the Michigan stuff recently. That shit's super glowy. I'm sure we'll have more stuff come out in the future. What else we got? SPLC had a lot to do with Waco as well, says Nevsky. You are correct. Bobo says, Danny Joke says he'll do a collab with you. You should talk about domestic Gladio with him. That would be a good one, I think. Yeah, I'll have to hit him up. I saw something I think you commented. I don't know if you can find a timestamp or send me the show. I'll check it out, see exactly what he said. I'll have to hit him up and maybe get him on for future already dead. Well, definitely next week, Austin will be back, so I'm almost certain we won't have a guest next week because it'll be nice just to catch up with Austin. But me and Austin will have to start trying to get guests after that, and we'll have to see about getting Danny on the show for sure. No more sending FBI recruits to Holocaust Museum for initial training. You're fucking wrong, Nevsky. They'll still do that, just not with the ADL. It'll probably be some other different group of letters thrown together. Marmac says Cash immediately went and took a poop on the street after this, for sure. Good morning, Tower Gang NPC. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, JB. Says anti-Semitism is kind of like a virus made in a lab by Jews. All right. Justin says, obviously they have no problem with Arabs and / or Muslims being scapegoated. They seem to be capable of anything. Bobo seemed offended by the $20,000 a year. You get what I mean. You mean people living in like a fucking smart city of trailers, essentially, where they're all interconnected, sharing the same Wi-Fi and water, and you know what I mean. Up in the hollers, the woods. I mean, smart city was a little bit of a joke. It's more just the idea of a clusterfuck of. I think you get what I was the picture I was creating. And the smart city I realized implied high tech, but then I realized that didn't really quite hit. But I think you get the picture I was painting. Nevsky says Christian Identity Group is basically white Hebrew Israelites, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so it's like this. All these idiots online are like, oh look, they're anti-Christian, and like, yeah, they are. Like, but like for not the thing you're pointing out, all these people are like, oh, look at them identifying Christian identity as X. You're like, you clearly don't even know what Christian identity is. Yeah. Justin says, I think bombing children attempting to justify it is extremist. I agree, Justin. I think it's even worse than the word nigger. Isn't that crazy? Sorry, I my bad, guys. I actually warned you guys earlier. You have like spoiler warnings, but instead for the N-word is what I need to have, because it is fair. I get it. You don't just want those dropping off in public like a fucking grenade, like shit. Bubba says I literally called the show to try to get him to call you after his show is done. That's how we pass messages. You're my raven, Bobo. All right. AB says, have you watched Coop's OKC Part 1 video? I have. I followed him on Instagram. And I couldn't find anywhere else to follow him because I was like, oh, I'll probably have to link up with him. I don't know. Even if it's just to be like, I can help him with resources or whatever. I was like, I need to hit this guy up or have him on the show or something because like he's got a big audience. He's just getting into it. He's put out some good content. I think the only thing he's really dug into so far as resources was Margaret's book, which is good. I haven't read Margaret's book. I've heard nothing but pretty much good things. I've heard it's kind of more of like I guess you maybe like a more condensed, kind of almost like a beach read, I guess, version of Aberration, I guess is kind of almost you could see, is my understanding perhaps. I haven't read it, kind of like it's more of a breeze of a read, a lot shorter. So, it is more of an entry. So it's like, hey man, I'm kind of like, the crackhead scratching like, hey man, hit me up. I got that good shit. I'll tell you where to go. So yeah, I don't know if he's got a good idea of, what resources to lean on. But yeah, I don't know. I did try to follow up with him because I know you guys mentioned him. I was like, who is this guy? Pretty good. The first outing, I didn't really have there was nothing in there that I recalled being like overly inaccurate or anything crazy. So he did a good job. So, Hobla says, how long would Greenblatt have to have your number before you change it? That's a weird question. I know I'd change it immediately. Bobo says, you try my best. I hope you appreciate the effort. Nevsky says, what's the right-wing version of the ADL? That's highly implausible. PragerU. I don't know. I don't really know what you would call. There's got to be one. There's got to be one. There's all sorts of Zionist right-wing things. Now, what would fall as like maybe like a Libs of TikTok? Although, has she changed her ways? I've also seen her somewhat recently where she's been like actually horrified by some of the shit going on over there. But I know for a while she was like ruining people's lives over like, somewhat not even really that anti-Semitic type stuff. And be like, oh my God, look, they did this. And then just like doxing people and contacting their work and being like, she doesn't like babies being killed in Israel. You should destroy her life. And you're like, oh my God. So yeah, I forgot where I was even going with that. She would be, I guess, kind of like a right wing, but I don't know where, but you get the idea. It would definitely not be, if we had a modern day right wing ADL, it wouldn't look like the ADL. It would obviously be something more updated, like something like a Libs of TikTok type thing or something. I don't know what, but something will fill the gap. All right. ADL is by far the worst one, though, says Nevsky. Perhaps. I don't know. I'd have to dig into other groups like that. ADL definitely just kind of takes the crown, I think, for sure, amongst these groups. Just at least offhand, without like doing some sort of deep research. Maybe there's some other crazy shit. All right, let's get into some clips. Clip day, baby. Tucker just had an episode where we went hard as fuck on the Jays. Basically, damn near turned on Trump, although not entirely. I mean, he did. I will say it did feel pretty cathartic watching this episode. You're like, hell yeah, he's naming the motherfucker. He's like, look, he's kind of been going harder lately on Trump in a lot of ways. So I was like, oh, cool. He's going to go full. And he kind of did, but the end of the episode sort of backs off. Some of that sources say cope shit that I was giving you earlier. He played some clips of like the West Bank shit and being like this and that. He's not going to let him annex the West Bank, and he's saying enough is enough, and he's getting all tough, and he's like kind of the shit I was just teasing earlier. Tucker was leaning hard into that shit. So just throwing out there, I wouldn't be surprised if if we see more of that going forward. But that is where all of this does sort of get diverted to. But the first 7/8 of the episode or so, just crushing. So let's watch this clip together.
So right now, as we speak tonight, there are 2 THAAD missile batteries in Israel. That's 1/4 of the world's total supply of THAAD missile batteries. The THAAD missile battery is an American-made, very high-tech missile battery that takes incoming missiles out of the sky. And 1/4 of the world's entire supply of these is in Israel right now, manned by U.S. troops, by Americans. In uniform or not, they are American military personnel, and they are manning these batteries to protect Israel. And that shouldn't surprise you, because since October 7th, 2023, which is a little less than 2 years ago, the United States has spent at minimum $30 billion defending Israel. Huge. And for some perspective, the entire Israeli military budget before October 7th was about $25 billion. So the United States has put at least $30 billion into defending Israel in less than 2 years. Over the course of its existence, a little less than 80 years, the United States has put $300 billion, at least, those are just the on-books numbers, into supporting Israel. $300 billion. Israel is by far, no one comes close, the largest recipient of U.S. aid over time and currently. So anyone who says, oh, it's just a drop in the bucket, it's totally insignificant, is lying or doesn't know the numbers. By the way, number 2 is Egypt. So why are we spending so much money on Egypt? Well, we're doing it at the request of Israel. So you could probably add that to the tally. It's not an attack.
Yeah, let's. Anytime you hear the Abraham Accords, you need to. It's always presented as like, oh, these great sweeping moves towards freedom and peace in the Middle East. What are Abraham Accords? I know it feels like it's almost kicking it or stabbing it. Kicking a dead horse or whatever? Like it's like this is, but God, I totally said a brain fart. Where's I going with this?
So you could probably add that to the tally. It's not an attack.
Oh, Egypt. Oh, Abraham Accords. Sorry, I don't know. My brain just dropped what I was thinking about immediately for some reason. The Abraham Accords. It's literally they're just countries that we're paying to normalize relations with Israel. That's all it is. And normalize relations is not be hostile, not go to war, not. So all of this is a house of cards to, prevent a genocidal state. A runaway terrorist state that attacks every one of its neighbors from, receiving said, typical consequence that one would receive from it. I mean, it's like you have one drunk who likes to go to the bar and get in bar fights and beat the fuck out of everyone. And then you got the Monopoly man that like an hour before is like just paying him money. Be like, hey, just stay away from him. Just go out, just stay out of his. If he does attack you, I'll give you a few extra, but just don't. Like, that is what all of this is held up on. Just violence and just pure money.
So you could probably add that to the tally. It's not an attack. It's merely perspective. We are spending...
Money actually created out of violence, actually, if you do understand libertarian theory and how money is just created out of thin air and just basically stolen from us, which is, just taking property. It's violence by a different name, essentially.
Our time, our money, and we're taking enormous risks on behalf of a country that geopolitically is not significant at all. The interesting thing is, most Americans have no idea that this is true. They don't know how disproportionate our attention to Israel and our spending on Israel is relative to the rest of the world. And if you want some sense of how disproportionate, India and China combined, neither of which is a strong ally at the moment, combined represent more than a third of the entire world's population. Both are rivals economically, both are rivals militarily, at least potentially. And our relationship with them has gotten worse or has, at the very least, languished because of our relationship with Israel, because of the bandwidth consumed by tending to it, and also because of some of the inevitable conflicts that have arisen because of our support for Israel, which is engaged in an extremely controversial, which is to say hated war in Gaza, which is not even really a war. It's a massive displacement of people and killing on a grand scale of unarmed people, of unarmed combatants, of civilians, of women and children.
Yeah, kind of saying what it is. And then also he dropped some hard truths. I think this is particularly interesting, the stuff he was talking about, this Iran-Israel stuff, and the way... I think we'll get into some of the Kirk stuff later, but this kind of colors the context of the situation a little bit, because one of the big things that's pointed out is that multiple people have said that Kirk apparently went and personally lobbied Donald Trump to essentially not move forward with the Iran stuff. Apparently, there were also these essentially was being, I forget where the source of this was, but essentially the idea that he got the call from, I think it was implied or straight up said JD Vance or somebody else, essentially like, hey, this is what we're doing, so like shut up and get with the program. And instead he chose to physically go and talk to the president and essentially lobby for him not to do that, and supposedly got a lot of shit for it. Which sounds crazy, but then when you add this little piece of information into the recipe of what's going on, it paints a little bit different of a picture.
during the 12-day war, such as it was with Iran, the U.S. and Israel versus Iran, bombing on all sides. During that short conflict, IDF officers in the Pentagon, foreign military officers in the Pentagon, and by the way, they're not the only foreign military officers in the Pentagon, to be clear. There are NATO officers, they're from other countries, British, but there are a bunch of Israeli Defense Force officers in the Pentagon that week. And during that week, ask anyone who works at the Pentagon, they enraged American Pentagon staff by just barging into meetings, giving orders, making demands, and nobody did anything about it. How can a foreign military officer barge into military headquarters, even if invited, but barge into a meeting and start demanding, we want this, we want that, you need to get on this? Huh? The more you allow that kind of deeply unhealthy behavior, the more you're going to get. And that's exactly what has happened. Because of the weakness of our leaders, we have incited predators in a foreign country to take advantage of us. Oh, that's such an anti-Israel thing to say. It's not anti-Israel at all. It's a demand that the people whose job it is, whose sacred duty it is to defend and represent us, our leaders, both at the Pentagon and all throughout the U.S. government, that they do that they stand up and defend us against all potential threats, against all foreign countries to the extent they need to, and that they do not prostrate themselves before a foreign nation. That's just basic. Why have a government? Especially a strong government, if it's taking orders from another weaker government. And that is the state of play. And it has been for a very long time. And they're not even pretending.
All right, well, I guess you can consider those those two pieces from Tucker almost like the segue from our foreign policy into our Gabbing with Ghouls segment. So here we have, I kind of want to start off with, I mean, this is kind of a bizarro world, here is Barry Weiss over the Free Press. We've checked in on that operation a few times, seeing what's going on there. But here's a few-minute clip. I haven't dug into this a bunch, really. I've kind of read a little bit of what Mel had to say about this, so I do think it's particularly interesting. I think she might be onto something. But I think it'd be interesting to just kind of check in. What is the Free Press saying? We just checked in on Tucker, kind of having a little bit more of a sober analysis than most. Well, let's see where the propaganda is at. For those who aren't aware of what the Free Press is, this is Barry Weiss's outfit that was essentially a blog that I forget where she was working. It was the Times or where the fuck she was working at, but she had some big establishment job before this. Then she left, did her own independent thing. I kind of speculate it's almost like she was doing, I'm doing the independent thing, trying to almost like I guess kind of what maybe some people would speculate Tucker could have been doing, and the kind of the we see the way that the media is going, so we kind of have to have our assets in place if you want to be jaded like that. Same thing feels like, if anything, way more so with Barry Weiss. And so she kind of went off her own thing, did a blog, an independent blog. I think she kind of hired some people here and there. And it's basically kind of transformed itself into essentially just a straight-up Hasbara speaking point outfit. And it, as of late, is getting ready to be subsumed. I don't know if it's official yet, but it basically is, from my understanding, by CBS, which got recently bought out by either Larry Ellison or his son, I think. I think it's Larry Ellison's son, who's the Oracle guy. He's also the guy who owns TikTok now, which is another interesting thing in all of this propaganda push. He's been on, he's many times been quoted about how much he loves Israel and donates profusely to them. Like, we're talking like top tier mega group type guy, like, Israeli Jewish donors type shit. And he owns TikTok now. I think his son owns CBS now. They also swapped out the 60-minute, I think it was like their director or whatever, their creative director, who kind of runs the show. So they've essentially kind of put people in place to run stuff. She's getting ready to come on, I think, as like their editor or something. Essentially, she's going to kind of help control content to move it the way they want. I think she's still probably, I don't know what way the Free Press is going to fit into all of this, but it is, she is what she is. All those things I just laid out, you can put the pieces together. So let's see where they're at. I'm interested.
2012. I'm a foreign correspondent for Fox. And, normally when you're based in Jerusalem, you're covering suicide bombings, you're covering
right off the jump, first impressions. That voice. I don't know. I mean, I guess people have different voices. This is just first impressions. I mean, I don't have a particularly masculine voice, so what am I saying? But the voice, the dress, the mannerisms, a little off-putting off the jump. Just saying. But let's keep going.
Protests in the West Bank or riots in the West Bank, on and on and on. Because of the Arab Spring, I really hadn't spent that much time in Israel. And the Palestinian-Israeli conflict was not a thing those years. There had been a couple Gaza skirmishes, but there was the Gilad Shalit deal where there was an Israeli soldier who had been held hostage and traded from Gaza to Israel for 1,000 Gazan prisoners.
Including Sinwar.
Including Sinwar. And including a woman named Wafa. And Wafa had been a woman in the West Bank, a woman in Gaza. She had pulled a pot of boiling water over herself when she was like 5 or 6 years old. The Israelis treat most of the people out of Gaza who have really horrific burns, catastrophic medical injuries. She goes back to Gaza after being treated for 4 or 5 years in Israel, but has a pass to get in and out of Israel, which very few people in Gaza did at the time. So she gets recruited to be a suicide bomber. This is in the Second Intifada, so mid-2000s. And there's the video of her coming to the checkpoint to get into Israel wearing her suicide vest. And she'd been given 3 target options by the Alaska Martyrs Brigade: a bus, a cafe, or the hospital that had treated her and saved her life. She chose the hospital that had treated her and saved her life. She gets to the checkpoint. They discover that she has a bomb, or they really think she does. She tries to detonate it. It doesn't go off. She gets thrown in jail. Again, the Israelis treat her. They help her with her burns. They educate her. They give her a college degree. And now in the Gilad Shalit deal, she goes back to Gaza. So I go to Gaza to interview her, thinking this is going to be a redemption story. It was before Christmas, right? That she's going to say,
perfect Christmas story.
I am going to be the one to try and forge peace, and I believe in peace, and I've seen that the Israelis are not evil, that I don't want to kill them anymore. Fine.
By the way, I want to be very clear. While I have no problem being crass and making illusions, I wasn't necessarily saying the guy was a poof. I'm also sort of making a comment on like just the overall. It seems like this polished establishment, hacky, soft hands. Like I'm not necessarily saying gay per se, but it does kind of like somewhat come with the territory. It just is. I'm already kind of. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I mean, I guess I'm kind of curious. Do you guys have these same, like, you see these and you get these vibes and you go, ugh. Like, that's, like, as I am kind of, which is, I kind of commented on this recently. I felt the same thing when I went to the Charlie Kirk show recently. It was a similar vibe. As similar as what I'm seeing right now, kind of. We were like, what is this? It just feels weird. It's off-putting. It's kind of gross. You're like, this is, I mean, maybe it's just me. It's like, this is a classist thing where I'm like, this ain't my people. You're very clearly not my people. Like, whatever you are, you're not my people. Something like, I don't know. He's not the salt of the earth by any means, shape, or form. I'm just curious. Do you guys get that too? Do you get weirded out by those sorts of things? Comment in the chat.
So I get into Gaza and I bring with me an iPad that has the video of her trying to blow herself up. So we're sitting across from each other like this. She's wearing a hijab in a very junky Gazan apartment. It is an awful place in every sense of the word. And I show her the video. And I said, what are you thinking watching this? She goes, oh.
Like even the polished, performative, which I guess speaks to more being being a regular public speaker, but it just feels odd.
Oh. Has all this reaction. And she goes, I'm thinking I almost tasted paradise. Okay. Would you do it again? Absolutely, in a minute. This is my calling in life. I said, wait a second. These people treated you in all of your burns. They saved your life. You tried to blow them up. They still treated you. They educated you, and now you have a chance at life back here in Gaza, and you'd want to blow them up. And she goes, absolutely. They are the infidels. They are evil. They are the enemy. I can't remember what the exact translation was. And that's when my mind was made up about sort of the moral clarity of the Israeli-Palestinian debate. Are the Israelis perfect? No. but that's what they're up against.
This one anecdotal example I have. This proves everything. All right. Well, as Mel points out here, she says Israeli propagandists have been milking the story of this clearly unwell woman, Wafa, for over 2 decades. Always with the same theme. Look at the psychology of the people Israel's dealing with. You'd think if the psychology were that prevalent, they wouldn't have to recycle this same woman's story over and over again. Perhaps that's why Leland Wittert, I guess that's his guy, even his name, Leland Wittert, not my people. I mean, I don't know. This comes back to patterns. Each one of these individual things, I'm like, sure, you can have this like tightly fitted white, button-up shirt that's, all rolled up perfectly and with your little tie, and like you can be an okay whatever. But when you add all these little check boxes that you just they don't necessarily each one does, but it's like enough adds. You're like, Leland Wittert, what the fuck? But yeah, perhaps that's why he chose to blatantly lie when saying the story at this time. This woman did not, in quotes, pour a pot of boiling water of herself as a child and spend 4 or 5 years receiving treatment in Israel before going to Israel back to Gaza. She was injured in an accidental gas explosion while she was cooking when she was 21 years old. And she received treatment at a burn unit a few months before her failed attack. Now, why would Leland Wittert tell such a blatant lie? Why would he claim this woman had spent years of her childhood being healed and nurtured by Israelis, only for her to come back years later and attack them? The answer is clear. He's working to dehumanize injured Palestinian children by insinuating that helping them could/will ultimately backfire. That's his goal. Depict them as mentally unhinged from early childhood and therefore totally unworthy of compassion and care. This is really stuff from the Free Press, which I actually want to play probably like the last 30 seconds or so, and just like you can almost disregard everything else. Just insert anecdotal example of awful behavior, because let's say all granted, and then followed up by
here in Gaza, and you'd want to blow them up. And she goes, absolutely. They are the infidels. They are evil. They are the enemy. I can't remember what the exact translation was. And that's when my mind was made up about sort of the moral clarity of the Israeli-Palestinian debate. Are the Israelis perfect? No, but that's what they're up against.
So that's when I realized, that's what they're up against. Moral clarity. 60,000 dead? There's this one crazy bitch this one time. So this is the logic. So yeah, I mean, that kind of really is what it all comes down to. Like, this is what they're dealing with. All right, let's pop in. We got a little video from, I guess Chelsea Clinton is starting getting the podcasting game. Let's see what she has to say, if it's anything worth a damn.
Private partnerships, kind of after the last few years, I think we spend so much time, understandably, focused on the mRNA vaccines and technologies. I spend a lot of time thinking about the really unfortunate, to try to use a not too judgmental word, kind of rise in not only kind of vaccine hesitancy and questioning, but outright kind of rejection of vaccines and of kind of science and the scientific kind of process, and also too often on our scientists, our epidemiologists, our frontline healthcare workers. And so I do think we need to have a much more robust conversation and sense of urgency, because I think we are less prepared today than we were arguably in January of 2020, partly because of the kind of lack of trust and confidence in not only our scientists, but in science itself, and certainly in the public health professionals. And so I think we need kind of the public sector to hopefully stop doing things like stripping away public health emergency powers from state public health agencies. But we also need the private sector to help, candidly, like do a better job of helping explain kind of the science that you are already commercializing and bringing to market, but also what you're working on, and help us kind of in the broader conversation not be uncomfortable with the discomfort of uncertainty. And so I do think we need really good ideas for how best to do that, because we all deserve to hopefully not be as unprepared as I worry we are at the moment. And the last thing I'll say is a new effort that we're a part of is the new initiative launched by the World Health Organization, last week to try to catch kids up on their routine immunizations. In 2021 alone, more than 25 million kids under the age of 1 missed at least one routine immunization. And so we're working with WHO and the Gates Foundation and others to hopefully have the largest kind of childhood immunization effort ever over the next 18 months to catch as many kids up as possible, because no one should die of polio or measles or pneumonia, including in this country where we also need people to be vaccinating their kids.
All right. Real riveting stuff. I'm going to go ahead and go on the limb. I don't think this podcast thing's going to work out so great for her. I zoned out all of that. It's like, just felt like corporate HR. This felt like work meeting. Let me just piggyback on that. Yada, 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 yada. And then everyone just at work is, you don't even listen. You're just, when's she going to be done? When's she going to be done? Okay, cool. Can we go? Fuck, another person. That's what it felt like. I don't see this going well, but yeah, they have Chelsea Clinton out here. While I did zone out, I did get the vibe that this was just kind of the anti-RFK. Although, let's be real, the RFK has been a disappointment anyways. They're like, we're going to stop vaccines because they cause autism. Guys, maybe don't take Tylenol. That might make you autistic. I don't. It's felt like he's been a complete and utter letdown. What little bit of like based possible science we could get out of this has turned out to seemingly be borderline faggotry, and somehow not being anti-Semitic is somehow now connected to my health. That seems to be the situation. So I know, so far as controlling both sides of the game, they seem to be trying, but it's pretty pathetic on both sides, and I don't know to what extent anyone's buying it. Definitely not on the Clinton side of this in the podcast game. At least with RFK, he's objectively the minister of health or whatever the fuck. She has a podcast, is probably going to flounder. So have fun paying bot farms for an extended period of time. It'll be, I don't know, we'll see. I mean, every now and then they don't really seem to put in any effort to put at the bot farm. So it is always nice to look at the metrics every now and then for one of these big dogs who used to be a big deal in the establishment media or some sort of establishment hack. And you're like, oh, look, no one's watching that. Isn't that great? So I don't know. We'll find out. It'll be fun. We'll clown on them if they don't boost their metrics. But we also have people coming out here telling us not to be conspiracy theorists. Let's see what they have to say. Maybe they bring up a good point.
Disinformation expert Mike Rothschild and former FBI and CIA Special Agent Tracy Walder. Great to have you both here. Mike, how do these spread? And by the way, why are we seeing so many anti-Semitic conspiracy theories right now?
Well, as I wrote about in one of my books, all conspiracy theories essentially have a hint of anti-Semitism, and all anti-Semitism is based around conspiracy theories. It's very natural for an unexpected traumatic event like Charlie Kirk's murder, caught on camera in front of hundreds of people, instantly broadcast around the world, to send people spinning off into wild theories of what happened, why it happened, who did it. We had no idea for almost 2 days. That is a petri dish where conspiracism and paranoia are going to grow. And everyone is going to latch onto a different theory based on whatever your own personal beliefs are. Whatever you wanted the shooting to be, for that, it was you. And it spreads instantly on social media.
By the way, Mike, should we trust you? Aren't you a Rothschild?
Aren't you a Jew?
Aren't you behind everything?
I am a Rothschild. I'm not one of the Rothschilds. If I were, I would be living on my yacht and counting my paintings.
Okay, great. Because I thought that was a room on your yacht. I was mistaken. Okay, Tracy, let me go to you. There is a...
All right, leave it to back to the cut of a man's jib. I don't know. This is kind of like what a vaccine or a health expert comes out and they're just some slovenly fuck. You're like, well, here's the guy you roll out for telling me not to believe in conspiracy theories. This guy. Do I even need to present an argument? No, I don't think I do. All right, let's hold the chat. Keep this face up for a minute while I check in with you guys. What else going on there? Let me see. Bug fights. I have no idea what she said. It didn't matter. Who cares? What's whatever. Justin Valentine says, just like book deals and speaking fees, creates a golden opportunity for bribes, just like Mama. Yeah, it is a good point. You can probably grift some money off this big time. Although I don't know to what degree that's going to work. They better pad the numbers because, I mean, you're gonna have a hard time running that Clinton Foundation scam when you're like, oh, and here's 1.2K views on your fucking interview with Barack Obama. You're like, I don't know if they're going to be willing to pay out a whole lot for that. I mean, I guess you do still kind of shore up political connections, sort of. But when you then also have this public facing, this looks weird, I don't know. I don't know if that'll work. We'll see. I'll be interested to see how this goes. Bugfight says RFK is clearly compromised. Justin says, I'm not going to just hand you $1 billion. I'm going to buy 10 million copies of your stupid book. Yeah, what an annoying way to get paid. Marnimac, these people are worst hypocrites ever, for sure. What else? Oh, somebody's sick, I guess. Get better, Boomer Slayer. Hope you feel good today. Get some rest. Almost 60 people, only 36 likes. Bump those numbers up, people. Let your friends know to watch the show and like it as well. Justin Valentine says he's actually right. Every time you suspect a Jew, you immediately get called a kooky conspiracy theorist. And everybody knows it had to be a Muslim. Looks like Ashton Forbes is Dracultocon. I think you might be on to something, Dracultocon. Yeah, exactly. It's a golden Scheichelberg, says Romulus. Good morning, Alien Big Cat. First, I'm seeing you in the chat. What's up? What's up? All right, let's get into. We're gonna be following the money. Although, let me see if actually there's one I really wanted. Did I lose it? Oh no, I had it totally had a tab. Oh, here it is. Actually, I'm gonna do this one first because this kind of ties into the kind of whole "oh no, the left did it" thing. Look at this shit. I want your. I didn't want you guys to see it. Tell me what you think, particularly the viewers. Look at this and tell me what you think. I hope you can see that caption. I don't want to poison the well. I really, really, really want you in the chat to look at this and just the first thoughts that come to mind. And I'll read them for the audio people so we can kind of, they know, so you aren't just like, oh, Jose's inserting here. Watch this. Tell me what you think. Which, by the way, this is Antifa attacks journalists. This is Fox News. Some broad, Jesse Walters, I think that's his name. Yeah, and then just some broad who supposedly got attacked by Antifa. So let's go and watch this.
The post-millennial journalist attacked by Antifa. Wow, that is quite a shiner. You all right?
Oh, yeah, I definitely have a black eye. So that's what it's been like covering Portland for the past 4 months. Complete lawlessness.
Wow. They say it's just one city block. Is that even true?
That's not true. So it went from being
the post-millennial journalist attack.
Okay, it was only a 22-second clip. We played it all. I want to see, am I losing my mind? Is someone going to say it? Is someone going to say what I'm thinking? Nobody's yet. I guess we'll pop to the chat, see if maybe somebody says it real quick. Rise to Liberty says Dumper's Law. If someone is to overhear a person watching the morning dump, it will be at the time a hard R or some unpleasant statement will be heard. That is the Dumper's Law. Let me see. Are you guys calling it AI? Boomer Slayer says she looks slightly like AI. Black eyes and no swelling, says of aggressively agreeing. Now, I will say I'm a little bit torn on this one because she is wearing makeup. And then also there is, so I mean, it does kind of create a distortion of how you look, the lighting. But it is, I've got to say, Uncanny Valley, something about it. It feels off. It feels weird. I don't know. Just saying. We're in a post-reality world. I think it is. It's worth. I'll let you guys look at this one more time. Tell me what you think. Does this seem something just seems off about? I mean, now I will also add too. We are also in a time and place. She is a woman. Is it really that crazy that maybe she? I mean, any of you chicks or really anyone who uses filters, sound off in the chat or the comments. Is this like insofar as like live streams and stuff, like, is it common, particularly for women, to use filters? Because I'll give her, perhaps she's just using a normal filter to make herself look what she thinks is prettier, or clean up this or clean up that. I mean, you'd think if you are trying to show off a shiner, you wouldn't want to do that because that would probably throw it off, the appearance of the shiner. But perhaps that's a component here too, just like a normal vanity thing for women. But let's play this one more time. I just want to.
Post-millennial
Something
journalist
about it
attacked
seems off.
by Antifa. Wow, that is quite a shiner. You all right?
Oh yeah, I definitely have a black eye. So that's what it's been like covering Portland for the past 4 months. Complete lawlessness.
Wow. They say it's just one city block. Is that even true?
That's not true. So it went from
Okay, I might be just losing it. The more I watch it, the more I kind of convince myself both ways. But I really just want to get you guys' opinion. What do you guys think? Slightly like AI. She was live streaming when it happened, Nevsky said. Okay, perhaps that's the case. All right, she was. Okay, cool. If someone has a tag for that, let me know, because I'll check it out. I did see photos. Let's see. Actually, let's look through the comments. Perhaps there's, like, they show photos of, like, this is what she looked like last night. Which, I'm not saying she didn't have a shiner, but it just is also like, what's going on? Something about this looks weird. I would also assume if there was, so I'm looking through these comments, perhaps maybe someone would say, oh, here's a video of when she linked, or of when it happened. So, I mean, there's a photo of supposedly when it happens. So if there's a stream, I would assume. This one fairly viral-ish. You know, we got 10,000. I'm not seeing, let's look around, see if I can find any. Obviously, that's not solid proof that's not the case, but you would think someone would be like, hey, dude, here's the fucking video of her actually getting attacked. I did show you that picture. Let's look back at maybe at that picture there's a comment under it. We'll try one more time. See perhaps if there's something there. If not, if one of you guys find it, feel free to tag me. Yeah, not seeing anything about that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm completely open to that, but it looks weird. And we are just in this weird time. We're like, what is going on? And I think if we are commenting about this, like left, right, hey, there might be something there. Or do we have people? I mean, we had all of this, troops entering the city shit was started off by big balls getting attacked in D.C., which I don't know if I necessarily buy that to begin with also. So now we have some pretty blonde broad who's looking kind of funky online. People are going to be suspicious. So looks like someone applied shitty makeup effects, says Bobo. She just smeared her eyeliners, says Drackle the Con. She did get hit on camera, says Nevsky. Okay, perhaps. Are women even real, says Boomer Slayer? So throw her in the pool. We'll build exactly. That's also like with a woman with makeup. You're like, I don't know. Is it the makeup? Looks like genuine bad lighting, but it is, or at least looks like a green screen background. That will in turn make people look more AI. Yeah, good point. So it's at least worth a look at this. This is weird, but I don't know. Not necessarily. A lot of people are saying the same thing, the Tyler Robinson thing with the lighting. But then when you saw photos from inside the Dairy Queen and the way their odd recessed lighting was, it did create odd lighting effects. You're like, oh, okay. So, hey, whatever. Stop covering for Antifa commies. I have no problem fucking pointing them out. But I see this and it does look funky. Don't know what to say. Her eyes. The eyes were the weird thing, too. The eyes, man, something's wrong. So perhaps she just has those creepy eyes. Keeps raising her eyebrows to emphasize the eyes, someone says. Maybe you're both right. Zoom, for example, does touch-ups. Maybe it's a new filter and whatever app. There you go. Yeah, that's kind of like perhaps it's a filter thing. I mean, people are saying she's bugging. She does look bug-eyed, which makes it seem weird. So, exactly. Lighting looks weird. Looks like she used too much self-tanning. So, she was definitely attacked and followed the attacker, says Nevsky. Okay, I'm not disagreeing with you. I was kind of hoping there would be something in the comments or something so that we could follow. But here is the thing. So, hey, okay, then there's the crux of the story there. We have people running with this. We're in this post-reality world where things look funky. Maybe she probably was using a filter of some sort. And, yeah, perhaps Andy No posted about it, says Mike. Maybe, or a Botox thing is a good point. Rise to Liberty. Maybe she's an android, says Boomer. Okay, cool. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts because I was just looking at it like, this looks weird. I mean, we're at this point where this is real shit. So we are in this time of funny business. And I did kind of want to mention that as like, hey, even if it's this idea that, hey, we're in question of this stuff, we're in a post-reality world, well, hey, it is what it is. We're going to have these questions. We're going to talk about it. Get the fuck over it. And here we are. Here's I figure this kind of ties into sort of the Kirk stuff and jumping on one narrative or another. Trust me, I'm completely open with Antifa have beaten the shit out of that woman. It's completely falls in their MO. They've definitely done stuff in the past. But I'm also completely falls in the MO of grifting establishment media to make mountains on a molehill, stretch stories, do this whole thing where they record and make it seem like, oh my God, the situation's way worse than it is, just to fuel views or to fuel their, whoever is filling their fucking wallet to whatever psyops they're trying to push. You never know. So you got to look at this stuff. But this does tie into the whole Kirk thing between everyone's kind of, did Israel do it? Is it some crazed lefty? We don't know. But really jumping onto any side is a little ridiculous. But I think we can a little bit follow the money. And there was more corroboration on some of Max Blumenthal's reporting, which I feel like merits talking about. And we'll kind of talk about a few other Kirk-related things as well. Which also, real quick, I guess, kind of on this side of things of this jumping back and forth or this left, this right, to trying to figure out how narratives play out. Like we have that coming out on Fox News, and we have everyone freaking out, the right wingers, about fucking thinking perhaps Israel, not even necessarily just right wingers, anyone who thinks Israel may have had something to do with it. Which, to be fair, if you are asserting that, it is a little bit foolish. I will say I find it ridiculous, people who kind of poo-poo people who are leaning towards that or think that's the case without asserting it. Just like any normal person was, like, I don't know for certain, but this is what I think. I think that's 100% reasonable, and I think it's kind of ridiculous to act like it's ridiculous. So that's where I'm at. It's ridiculous to act like it's ridiculous to think that's the case. And it's also ridiculous to assert either, but there's a lot of people rushing to the left-wing thing. And I think this example that Mel brought up here is a pretty good example. We actually played a couple of his videos, and I think he actually referenced this sort of. But George Webb, I guess, is currently floating a theory that Tyler Robinson stealthily recruited queer mercenaries at the Utah Capitol building and then turned them into an Ass Nation team, which I don't know if Mel meant to put assassination, but Ass Nation's funny too, in order to take out Charlie Kirk. And okay, whatever. I really don't care, but you'll notice that all of the people howling about Candace's grifting on Charlie's death will offer zero critique of this batshit insane narrative whatsoever. Which I will say, until we find something that supports this, that does sound crazy on its face. That he, at these Dairy Queens or whatever, there was some sort of, troon meetup or some shit. Maybe. I guess maybe it's not batshit insane. It just seemingly, where is this coming from? I don't know. Ashton Forbes won't have a multi-day meltdown over it. The super-based right-wing gun nut bros won't be swarming his post to call him every name under the sun. The entire Zitch universe will likely give it credence. Because why not, right? We all know there's only one theory you're not allowed to hint at with Charlie's death and queer mercenary squads ascending from the gutters of the Utah Capitol, ain't it, baby? And she puts in parentheses, I would challenge George myself but I can't because he blocked me this week, which is weird because I don't think I've ever interacted with him. He did it the same day Laura Loomer did, but I'm sure that's just coincidence. I'm sure no one but sent out a list in a group chat or anything like that. Winky wink, which we'll get into Loomer just in a second. Now she's sharing from Webb where he's sharing, some articles she put out. We have... Oops, 1 second, I didn't mean to do that. We have one from September, a couple weeks ago, mid-September, transitioning Tyler to coach Emiria's Mujahideen armed queers mercenary group hiding behind a trans cover, freely recruit mercenaries on the Utah State Capitol steps. Which I don't know, I'll have to go check these stuff out. Who knows? Maybe he's onto something, but it does seem wild. And there is definitely something to be said about, I doubt we will see much, people throwing shit at him. But I'm open to these theories. I'll have to go check this out. How Tyler Robinson trained armed queers to kill Charlie Kirk. The subtitle being assassination teams need to practice like football teams. These do seem a little cocksure, and I'm very... I'm a little skeptical of the sources and the information here, but I'll have to definitely check that one out later. But to kind of bring it back to Laura Loomer, The man that funds her, Charlie Shillman, apparently they just, the New York Times just corroborated corroborated Max Blumenthal's reporting from near the end of September, revealing that ultra-Zionist billionaire Robert Shillman canceled a major donation to TPUSA just days before Charlie Kirk's killing. As in the past, he says, the Times did not credit me with breaking the news or link to my report, which does seem weird but here is the Times, says Mr. Kirk's willingness to showcase turning point events with Mr. Carlson, a forceful critic of Israel, infuriated one of the group's top donors, Robert J. Shillman, a conservative tech billionaire who two associates described as a father figure to Mr. Kirk. 2 days before Kirk's death, Mr. Shillman angrily questioned Mr. Kirk for giving a platform to Mr. Carlson and informed him he was withdrawing a $2 million pledge to Turning Point. Mr. Shillman did not respond to requests for comment. On a podcast tribute to Mr. Kirk 9 days after the shooting, Mr. Shillman made no mention of any discord between them, but said of Turning Point USA, without a leader, it has no particular direction. So now the Times is corroborating his reporting as well, not sourcing him, so I would assume they have their own independent source, I would think, or they're just relying perhaps on it. But the Times is running with it as well, so it's not just the lone Max Blumenthal. Not that necessarily is what makes a true story or not, or a story truth or not, but that is the case. And I do think it's interesting that Laura Loomer is funded by this guy. As we just mentioned, Mel, it is interesting. She pointed out that George Webb that George Webb blocked her right the same time Laura Loomer did. And I think she even said in there that, isn't that weird that they seem to have similar funding mechanisms. So let's take a little look at these funding mechanisms. One of you guys sent me these fun little anti-Semitism maps. It says Charlie Kirk's longtime top donor was Jewish billionaire Robert Shillman, who cut off funding days before Kirk's death. So one of you guys sent me this. Now, bear in mind, I haven't verified any of this. So check this. I mean, I don't know, man. You take this as far as you want. You go look and double check this stuff on your own. But this is kind of this, what do we call these? The path trees, or I forget what the term for these are. But almost like you could say a family tree of Zionist money. And it just kind of shows them. It's a Shillman, Mercer, Rosenwald, Alt Media Network. Now, it does kind of show these three at the top. So you have Robert Shillman, who is this main guy, big financier of pro-Jewish causes, it says, board member of DHFC, founder of Shillman Foundation, founder of Shillman Fellowship, founder of Technion, IoT? And then we have Robert Mercer, who's the co-CEO of Renaissance Technologies, hedge fund billionaire, founder of Rebel Media, funder of Breitbart News, which Rebel Media, I forget what that is. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll follow a couple of these paths. Nina Rosenwald, she owns Sears, Roebuck and Company heiress, president of Gatestone Institution, funds Abstration Fund, funds Project Veritas, which that's an interesting one, and funds DHFC. So let's follow Shillman's path a little bit just for a moment. That connects into the David Horowitz Freedom Center, which then obviously connects into David Horowitz, who was the president and founder of DHFC, the David Horowitz Freedom Center. Chief editor of FrontPageMag.com, funds Robert Spencer through DHFC, guest on Alex Jones shows and InfoWars, which, okay, whatever. So then Horowitz leaks into so many things. I mean, many of you guys have heard that name as well. That goes into Front Page Magazine, who Daniel Greenfeld is a writer there. That ties into, what else? It ties into Robert Spencer, founder of jihadwatch.org, co-founded SIOA, writer for Breitbart, co-authored 2 books with Horowitz. He's also met with Toby Robinson and EDL leaders. Now, that also funds, Stop Islamization of America. So we've kind of reached the bottom of that path. Although this kind of goes all over the place. You can kind of follow all sorts of different paths. Then we got Robert Mercer. We can go back to the top there. That ties into Rebel Media, which that ties into Laura Loomer, which I guess, so there's the funding of it. Is where so former employee of the Rebel Media, Laura Loomer. Who else? We also got Tommy Robinson, works for Rebel Media. Jack Posobiec, who used to work for Rebel Media. So these are Rebel Media figures. Also, I guess Pamela Geller, who is president and co-founder of SIOA, co-authored Burke with Spencer, author at Breitbart News. Robert Shillman supported the draw. Okay. Reoccurring guest in Rebel Media. Okay, so and then so we have that. The Shillman Foundation, I think I also pointed out that connected to to Project Veritas, which is run by, or used to be run by James O'Keefe. I think he has, I don't know if he's still Veritas or something else, but that is a thing. Then we have Nina Rosenwald, ties into Project Veritas, and that kind of, which then ties into InfoWars. But now this is, I don't know how legitimate this this little tree is. I mean, maybe we'll have to get like somebody like a 6 C's on. But the point being is this money game is pretty obvious. And it is kind of interesting when you look at these and you're like, oh, start understanding who is actually who's touched into these networks. Obviously, it's not a perfect representation for who can be trusted and who can't. I'm sure some of these people are able to be a little bit more real boys than others, while still being into these financial networks. But kind of the Chomsky line, like I'm not saying that you're necessarily like corrupt, that like you wouldn't, I forget the exact quote, just that like you wouldn't be here talking to me if it wasn't for you having these positions type deal. So sometimes that is the case. These are just people who genuinely have these beliefs, and sometimes they are selling their soul. But at the very least, you should be aware that they are, at least some of these guys, I guess I can't, some of these do seem to be held up on dubious things because, they're saying like Posobiec, he used to work for Rebel Media. And then, so to some extent, you obviously take these with a huge grain of salt. But, I mean, all these people probably glow pretty hard anyways. So am I astounded by any of these sort of connections? No. But obviously, take them with a huge grain of salt, but does not look good. And then to add more to this, we were talking about a little bit of Palantir earlier. Here is this video someone shared this about, I guess, one of the properties that they think the shooter may have disappeared to, and who that may have actually been owned by. Once again, everything huge grain of salt, but let's watch this together.
To the scene in the wooded area where the firearm was
Which, okay, I'll have to stop for the audio people, particularly in there. It's either pointing out 683 West, 925 South Street building, which I believe is supposedly one of the buildings by the wooded area that he supposedly went to. We actually showed this little area the other day.
Where the firearm was discarded, and the firearm had a towel wrapped around it. It's important. I'll get back.
Someone's searching home ownership history. Now it's showing its ownership January 2021 to present 683 Properties LLC. Then now look up 683 Capital Management. And then it goes into 683 Capital Management LLC Portfolio Holdings. Now I will say I did notice it went to LLC Capital from to 683 Properties to 683 Capital Management. So I don't know, like, does 683 Capital Management are they really the ones handling 683 Properties? I don't know. I'm not a business guy like that. So I don't know. Maybe, but that does seem weird. That's not a perfect one for one. Although maybe 683 Capital Management manages 683 Properties LLC. So I don't know. And when you go to look at it, it says security, PLTR, Palantir Technologies. And it says, then they're sharing another article. It says Putin authorizes U.S. hedge fund to buy Russian securities. Which I don't know how that necessarily ties in. Shows Palantir, Trump's big brother, dominating the stock market. It says 683 is an asset management firm that holds Palantir Technologies. Sorry, it's really small. I can't really see it too well. It's a significant holding, with other reports indicating that its largest position or a substantial part of their portfolio. So essentially the 683 is seems to be the majority of their portfolio consists of Palantir. So if we are following the money here, that seems to be the case. I guess it's not technically a Palantir property, but if you look at the people who owned it, the majority of their stock is Palantir, so it does paint an odd picture. And he's just now looking up, for the audio people, now he's just looking at Palantir, and so it's probably going to be a little bit of a roll of different, the crazy, spooky stuff Palantir does.
To criticize your former employer, it's taboo to do that. But to criticize an employer that also owns extremely lethal technologies and surveillance technologies that are highly invasive and used in war zones.
All right, I thought that was pretty wild. So it looks like perhaps that this was a property owned by Palantir. Now I'm open to that not being the case, but it looks a bit sketchy. Speaking of looks a bit sketchy, I don't necessarily know that this ties into any of these other stories, but considering the things we cover, I can't help but bring this up. Apparently, Texas Representative Tony Gonzalez's staffer was burned to death after dousing herself with gasoline, setting her body ablaze. Now, this is the picture of the woman. I'm assuming that's probably her husband and her child in the one photo. So, I mean, obviously, people crazy stuff. People do crazy things. By the way, thanks, Agile Anarchy, for being my eyes and ears out here, helping me find this one. But yeah, I mean, this is me going through it the first time with you guys, but this is an odd story, and obviously I have no idea if this guy's into Epstein, Kirk, anything, but with Gaza, whatever. But with all the weirdness going on, and then some representative staffer burns herself to death. A staffer that looks like maybe the years are off here, but looks like she probably had a young child. Something's a little off. Let's look at this story over the New York Post. I said a staffer for U.S. Representative. Dang it! Give me a second. Got to get this ad out of the way. Sorry. A staffer for U.S. Representative Tony Gonzalez, a Republican from Texas, who burned to death in her backyard, set herself on fire with gasoline, according to firefighters, but her family still insists it was an accident. Okay, Regina Santos Aviles doused herself in gasoline in Uvalde. This isn't Uvalde? Okay, I mean, I don't know, whatever. Maybe obviously that's just a dot. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. Connecting that dot for no reason probably shouldn't, but Uvalde is also where a big thing happened one time. Okay, according to a report from responding firefighters obtained by the Uvalde Leader News. So here she is, pretty lady. So she's a staffer. 35-year-old mother was ignited in flames, the report said, adding that burning gasoline cans were extinguished when firefighters arrived. Officials did not say whether she deliberately started the fatal blaze, but the Uvalde Police Department says it does not suspect anybody else was involved in her death, that there was any foul play. Okay, more photos of her. This is just bizarre. Just a pretty lady with a young family. Santos Aviles was found alive and still ablaze by her own mother. Oh my God, that's horrifying. Around 9:30 that night, was helicoptered to a nearby hospital. Despite the report of apparent self-immolation, her family remained adamant that whatever happened was accidental. Her last words, "I don't want to die," a member of her family told KSIT. That's awful. Santos Aviles was alone when the fire started. Home surveillance footage obtained by investigators showed. A mother to an 8-year-old boy, Santos Aviles was remembered as being full of life and devoted to bettering Texas community. Well, this is just awful. Jeez. So she was supposedly home alone. This is why you don't let bitches do shit. I protect her this is my hands look like this, or I protect her not because she can't, but because she's retarded. Okay, I shouldn't laugh at this. I'd have no idea what happened here. This is fishy, but it is. I mean, obviously there's a joke. They're like, you can't be letting ladies light the grill without her man at home. All right, that's awful. She loved the work that she did, and now she helped the communities get funding for things they needed, he added. Santos VA started working in Gonzalez's office as a regional district director in 2021, according to her LinkedIn profile. The investigation of her death remains ongoing, and law enforcement said it could be weeks until a final report from medical examiners is necessary or is ready. Yeah, it's wild. I mean, obviously we have nothing that insinuates anything about what happened here, but bizarre, and at the very least, absolutely tragic. So I'm sorry for her family. That's absolutely awful. A young boy's going to have to grow up without a mother. But I do think you should always be inherently suspicious when you see shit like this. And to kind of finish off today, we'll run through the chat after playing this. But actually, Jesse Trendadu sent this over to me today. A video, apparently Watch Mojo, which is a pretty big account online. They do a lot of like top 10s. They put out a top 10 fishy deaths. That might be the wrong title. Actually, 10 most mysterious prison deaths in history, and they covered Kenneth Trendadu, Jesse's brother. So I figured we'd watch that, and maybe we'll come back to some of the other 10 deaths. Maybe some of those are interesting. Jeffrey Epstein's one of them. But at the very least, I kind of want to see how good of a job Mojo did with covering Kenneth's death. So let's see what they got to say. Actually, of course, I got to bring it. Never mind. Give me a second. I got to readjust for StreamYard because, of course, it's doing StreamYard stuff. But let's watch this. I'll be interested to see how good of a job they did. Oh, just realized I didn't have it up. My bad.
Identity. Either
I
way,
did it again. My bad. Embarrassing. So at least it wasn't long.
Scrambling for co-conspirators after
It's like watching someone else's life on a movie screen.
Kenneth Michael Trentadue. The FBI was scrambling for co-conspirators after Timothy McVeigh bombed a federal building in Oklahoma City.
Was he nervous? Was he quiet? Quiet? Didn't say much.
Kenneth Michael Trentadue got swept up, despite having no direct relationship with McVeigh. The convicted terrorist himself said this was a case of mistaken identity. Either way, Trentadue was found hanged in his cell a month after his arrest.
The circumstances of his death in the Oklahoma Transfer Center are, to say the least, suspicious.
The medical examiner ruled this was the inmate's own doing only after 3 years of harassment by the FBI. He really couldn't confirm the cause of death, but the lax investigation's focus on potentially self-inflicted injuries sparked speculation that Trentadue was assassinated. No one can fully say why and how the FBI pulled this off, with no evidence of foul play. Certainly, their initial mistake sealed an innocent man's fate.
But that being said, I believe that there are some serious questions that need to be answered as to how this Federal Transfer Center handled this investigation.
Jeffrey Epstein. After 14 years of legal inquiry, American financier Jeffrey Epstein was charged with massive sex trafficking.
We're told the 66-year-old registered sex offender had just landed
Oh,
at T.
sorry, zoned out. Well, they did a pretty good job. It was a short little thing. They got most of the crux of it. Obviously, there's a lot, but a little top 10 that seeds doubt. But there's definitely a lot of doubt to be had in the Jesse Trentadue case. Go check out my, what was it, part 8, I think? I think part 7 was, but part 8 of what really happened in the Oklahoma City bombing in my series. We go really big into Jesse Trentadue and Kenneth Trendadue's story. That's well over an hour worth of content, if not even well over more than that. So go check that out if you want to learn more about the Trentadue story. But other than that, let's roll through the chat, say our goodbyes, and then I have a funny. I think you'll like today's outro, and then we'll get out of here. But let's check the chat. See what you... Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? I was setting up in the background. I was setting up the outro video. And, of course, literally the very moment I set it up, of course, is an issue. All right. I got it set up now. So it'll be ready to go. All right. Let's roll the chat. Say what's up. Justin saying, Uncle Shillman. Yep. Rise Liberty says, I tried to tell everyone that Utah is a super important state to pay attention to. There are some spooky things happening here. We actually covered your thread yesterday, your Utah thread. Probably might be time to update that sucker with everything going on there. We're almost at 40 likes. Bump those, or we're probably over there now. Bump that like up over a little bit, please. I said that weird. Bump those likes up. I don't know why I said that. That was odd. That was weird. Ignore that. Good morning. Bobo says he's a real boy. I think you're a real boy. Okay. Rise to Liberties, I guess he's talking in the chat, but he's saying the headquarters of the LDS Church is in Utah, and the LDS Church is a lot of pull, but most permanent residents aren't LDS, which I think most would agree that. But there's definitely a lot of them. Bobo says that did happen, and Brandon Herrera keeps trying to get Tony to talk about it on the campaign trail. I don't know what you're talking about, Bobo. I'm zoned out. The chick we just talked about setting herself on fire. It's the 23rd district in West Texas. Yeah, it's bizarre, very bizarre. It's an odd way to commit suicide, especially for a female. Exactly. Yeah, I don't think I would almost never hear a woman. They're saying it was an accident, which I guess. I mean, I struggle to imagine the accident that you would somehow douse yourself in gasoline and somehow there also be a fire nearby. But I guess crazier things happen. So yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Woman moment, says Drackle. She was trying to fix the lawnmower, says Justin. I guess. I don't know. More proof women should be pregnant in the kitchen, says Martin Mac. Hey, a lady said that, not me. All right. What else? Nevsky says, talking about people dead men shifts getting off. Yeah, it does. It is funny how often these people dead men switches, then nothing happens. Guys, I just want to let you know, if anything ever happens to me, all the info in the deep state's gonna drop. I can't wait. If something does happen to you, that's gonna get shared around. Justin Valentine, Richard Lee Guthrie's prison suicide was suspicious too. Good call, yes, and it very much connects to Kenneth Trinidou, because those motherfuckers looked exactly alike. And Richard Lee Guthrie dies in prison, almost exact same scenario shortly after. Oh wow, how convenient! How convenient. He also, I think, Guthrie also had the dragon tattoo. That John Doe 2 supposedly had. He had basically the same exact, basically like, so far as a profile, they looked damn near exactly alike. So it looks like they got the wrong person. Good morning, Charles Adams, says Tower Gang for Life. Yeah, boy. Jeff is Jose DM, says Draculticon. All right, guys, let's get out of here. For those who want to support the show, leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. You can also follow this show on YouTube, Rumble, all the audio podcatchers. Just basically anywhere you get podcasts at, you can watch this show. And then also, I give a big shout out to my sponsors every episode. Oh, I said that retarded. If you want to support the show in the best way you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. And right here, look, I'm going to figure out how to do the little, point right here. Here's a QR code where if you go to that thingamajigger right there, you can go and support the show. Just go click on that thing or whatever the hell it is you do with QR codes. And patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. That's where you can support the show at. The low level of $2 unlocks a whole bunch of shit for you. You get access to early episodes. I usually drop about 1 to 2 of those episodes a week. Keep about 4 of those behind the paywall at any given time. So that's weeks of paywall content. I said Nick Bryant on the show last night. Now I know I'm supposed to be grifty here and trying to get people to pay for the Patreon, but I will be honest, I'll probably drop that on Monday. Usually I will warn you, paywall content usually sits behind the paywall for like 2 weeks, but whenever I do something that is like timely, related to current events, I will usually drop it earlier. And we did talk about the Epstein stuff, and I don't know. I mean, with everything going on, it would be weird to sit on it for 2 weeks. I would assume it'll still be a big deal then, but it is timely and related to stuff going on now. And it's like, okay, now is the time to kind of drop this sort of stuff. So, but patrons, you got it almost a week early. So as opposed to the normal 2. So you're still getting early shit. I'm doing tonight. This one will be behind the paywall for probably 2 weeks. We'll be talking about the years of lead. I'll be bringing Doc Inferno back on. He's the one who did that 09A764 episode we did recently that a lot of you guys liked. So I think you'll like this episode as well. You also get access to the ad-free RSS feed. You also get access to Telegram. You also get access to the pre-show, post-show, and video calls from me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead. Austin will be back this coming Tuesday. Looking forward to that. I missed him. And for those who want to support the show, I'm retarded. I don't know why. I'm off today. I'll be back into it tomorrow. But for those, I give a big shout out every episode at the end for my sponsors, my Patreon sponsors, for their help and everything they do, and for being there through it all, and for giving me the most money. I love you guys. I like money. My previous co-host on Tower Gang, at Learn to Toad, also at Brigade D's, at ZOVRCK, at _Invisiel, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell's Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torme, at Wayne Taculus, the yellow polka dot dress, and Mark Vestibule. I appreciate all you guys supporting. I know I joke and kind of point, haha, it's money, but it really is. It helps. I mean, the more you guys, even just $2 here and there, it helps out a lot. It helps the show get bigger. It helps me be able to reallocate my time. It makes it so I no longer have to work for a buck out there or struggle about this or that. And I'm just able to focus on trying to put out good content. It helps out a lot. And as this show's growing, I am trying to, reallocate that energy back into the show. So I appreciate everyone who's been helping out with that. So leave a like, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff. And with that, we are out of here. Enjoy this outro. Deuces. Let me see. Let's go ahead and play this one. You guys will enjoy this.
Good morning. Ongoing investigation on the active shooter leads us to a trans liberal with a Republican dad.
That'll create some division. We go live to the trusted FBI for more.
Get in, Tyler.
Yeah.
We're taking you to Dairy Queen. Great job, kid.
Okay, from now on, you just do what we say. Now go get your Dairy Queen. It still hasn't been 33 hours.
As we wait for the 33 hours, the FBI is hard at work coming up with a solid script to present to the public. How do we get away with this?
I got it. Let's just ask ChatGPT to generate us a story of young gay lovers from the 20s.
Genius.
When you're talking about things like going out to a crime scene, that's how you investigate that matter properly. And when you're talking about why did it take 33 hours, all of that is being triaged by the FBI because that's what we do.
We trusted you with the Epstein files. We definitely can trust you with this.
Right. Trust your government. Noticing is antiseptic, right, John?
That's right. I think we might have found our suspect texting his furry lover. We're just waiting for him to confess.
Ugh, fine, but nobody my age sounds like that.
Shut up, Tyler, and send it.
Good thing they're rigorously pushing for a confession. It's like, let's get this over with, right?
Conspiracy theorists will believe anything these days, and this just in, we have footage of Tyler on the roof. Okay, here he is after disassembling the rifle to fit it in his pants, and now he doesn't have a shadow. Shapiro Steen, explain what we're seeing here.
Just because his shadow disappeared and our donors offered $1.5 million to find the killer doesn't mean we did it, but yes, he questioned too much. That's why we got rid of him.
We'll just say he reassembled it.
33 hours, 2 hours after the video footage was enhanced and released, and the suspect's father turned him in.
Seems like they could just show the actual footage of him taking the shot instead of that edited video, and all these conspiracy theories go away. Do they think we're retarded or something?
Hell yeah, Ching Chong, that's based. I mean, at least show the video of the lavalier exploding or the Israeli Schaefer security company retrieving the weapon.
Shut it down, John. Let's not forget what happened to Jackie when she noticed. Now, make the dad MAGA and have him call it in now. Are you ready to confess? He admitted it, okay? Now, when do I get the $1.5 million?
Well, hope he gets his ransom money, right?
Well, it's officially been 33 hours.
Oh, how exciting.
Let's hear Cash thank the Viking pagan gods.
Charlie would love that.
To my friend Charlie Kirk. Rest now, brother. We have the watch. And I'll see you in Valhalla.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
Forgive Tyler, for we know it was him, and there's nothing more to see here.
Good call, Erica. And if you still haven't followed Jake GTV yet, you might be severely retarded. Certainly not based.